Modern Plumbing Industries, modernpi.com. If you have any plumbing issue, they can handle it. They've been serving Central Florida for a long time, since 1975. It's a family-owned business.
I think I got a problem on the third floor.
Oh, really?
Yeah, every morning I've been clogging her.
Oh, okay, all right. Yeah, that could be. The toilet.
Is it possible I have the roots?
No, they can't get up that high.
I don't know, man. Something's wrong. But hey, we've both used Modern PI or Modern Plumbing.
Yeah.
They're so good. And I love their staff. Their staff is super friendly. They're a family-owned company. We've met the family. We've hung out with them at our events.
Yeah.
It's kind of harkened back to like that DeLand vibe, small town kind of a thing. But here's the best part. They cover everywhere, dude. They cover just about every county in Central Florida.
Yep, no, 100%. And they also do residential and commercial. Yep. And they handle emergency calls as well. So if you do have an emergency, they can take care of it.
Yes.
And so any plumbing problem, water heaters, whether it's your pipes, your toilet, your sink,
big,
anything,
small, anything really, they can handle it.
It's modernpi.com.
And set up a quick Teams meeting for next week.
Teams?
When you have more time available.
There's no I in team.
Well, we have a lot of issues with cybersecurity because every employee that leaves the company has all of our passwords.
Yeah. And they read my text messages. And they saw my wife nude.
And they
saw pictures of my wife nude.
No.
The man that worked here, we had a man that worked here, and he read my text messages because I'm normally an Apple guy. And his name was Butler, and he looked at my wife's nude body.
No, he didn't have any nude pictures.
Only bottoms. Only the bottoms, not the top.
I'm sorry, ma'am.
Well, don't worry. It's okay. So, yeah,
I'm not worried.
We offer everything. So, I don't know if we can make a quick Teams meeting, as I was telling you, maybe for next week.
We don't do Teams. We're Zoom. We're Zoom only.
Or Zoom. Maybe?
We can do Zoom. We got Zoom. I think I paid our Zoom.
Zoom.
Is this going to cost us anything? Because we also don't have any money.
No charge at all.
Oh, it's free?
No, free. Free cybersecurity.
The whole thing is free? Or is it eventually?
Well, right now, the meeting and everything, we're just trying to introduce our company. That would be a great question for the IT, for the person who's going to go and see you.
The HIT.
After the meeting.
But does that cost money? Because we have no money, ma'am.
No, well, you will have to talk with them in the meeting. You can tell them everything so they can go ahead and...
Everything? You don't want to know everything.
We can't tell them everything,
I can't tell you
ma'am.
everything.
It's real bad over here.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
It stinks over here.
I understand.
It smells. Does it smell where you're at? Ma'am, does it smell where you're at? Because it smells here.
I'm sorry.
No, don't worry. So let's go ahead and set up this
I'm not
meeting.
worried.
Can you spell me your name?
He can't spell his name. That's the problem.
No.
That's his main problem is he can't spell his own name, and it stinks in here.
I don't want to. I don't want to waste any more of your time. I apologize.
We're just gonna sit in our stink. Oh, you did. See, you're the bad one. She was saying something.
No. We were wasting.
I was recording. Hey, welcome to the show, everybody. Welcome to A Corporate Time with Tom.
Are you recording?
Bam! Right into the show. That's the way we do it, man. Right into the show. Yeah. Welcome to A Corporate Time. We're live on YouTube. We're live on Twitch. And you can watch us every Monday through Friday, and we're glad to have you here. And see, if you were, one of the guys that gets to us in the mornings when we're recording these shows, you would have been able to watch all of that, including some of the facial expressions we were making and how uncomfortable it was. But yeah, that's the way we're doing it now. We're rolling every show from now on just to make it more difficult. We're going to start the show with an unsuspecting prank phone call. That's what we're doing.
Hey, Bus Decker, hold on 1 second.
Oh, we're calling. Who are we calling?
Bus Decker.
All right, what line's he on?
He's on line 1.
Hey, Bus, can you hear us?
Uh-oh.
Our phones are dead.
Oh, man. Oh, you're still there.
Bus, can you hear us? This has been a hell of a start.
We got reset them or something?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
There they go. Okay.
All right, I'll try again here.
We'll just put our heads on our desk.
No.
I've been listening to a lot of the shows on Real Radio, and they do this a lot. They do it live, and then there's a lot of dead air. Is that
Don't
good?
say that. Why'd you say that?
I hear it sometimes.
No,
Normally on Jim Colbert, mostly.
No, come on.
On the JC. I hear it. Oh, here he is. Busdecker, do we have you?
Well, I'm here.
Yeah, we did it. The old reset work.
All right. Did you unplug it and plug it back in?
Yeah,
That's exactly what I did.
How does that work all the time?
I don't know. It's just like blowing into a Nintendo cartridge.
Yes.
It works.
Yes, it is.
So, Busdecker, first, congratulations on the first annual Just Call Mo Celebrity Bowling Tournament.
Oh, man.
Thank you. I think it was a rousing success.
Oh, yeah.
It was
good.
Huge success. It was packed. Crazy packed. The amount of people, I think you said over 300?
Yeah, definitely over 300 because we sold bowling tickets, we sold pinball tickets, and some people just showed up and we let them in. So, yeah, over 300.
And can you tell everybody what the charity was again? Because we watched the video and I don't get teary-eyed very often, but I
know that.
I had to look up at the screen for a second because especially with kids.
Oh, I was mush pie. I was hugging listeners. We were all crying. It was, but we're helping out, helping something really, really, really worthy.
And then how much?
Yeah.
And then tell us the charity and how much money you ended up raising.
So it's a local charity, local nonprofit called Rosie's Adventures, and it kind of goes back to so Mo and Nicole, the woman who founded the charity, they know each other. They used to work together when Mo was in the public defender's office and she was in the state attorney's office. This was like 15 years ago.
Sure.
So they've known each other for a long time. So Nicole, the founder of it, she and her husband had a daughter. Her name was Rosie, and Rosie had cancer. And so when Rosie was going through treatment, she would visit other kids in the hospital and bring them toys and try to cheer them up. And she was a little girl, and she would just do dress up parties and really try to make the hospital stays fun for other kids that were there.
Because they're not.
So I think in 2022, Rosie passed away. I think she was 7 years old. And so after she died, her mom, Nicole, wanted to continue sort of that legacy of visiting hospitals and taking kids' toys because, as she says in the video that played, it's no fun to be in the hospital when you're a little kid.
No.
And so she wanted to keep that legacy alive. So that's kind of what the nonprofit does. They visit hospitals and they bring kids and families who are battling cancer toys and events and have fun with them.
Yeah, and what a worthy charity too. It was a powerful video. It was real, and then, man. As soon as that was over, we got to bowling.
And then what?
Yeah, and I will say, if you want to see that video, I just reshared it on Facebook, and we'll have it on YouTube, and it'll be on their website as well on Rosie's Adventures.
Cool.
And as you asked, we raised $16,000 for them.
Awesome.
That's awesome, man. Congratulations.
Yeah.
And thanks to everybody who bought raffle tickets.
Best listeners in the world, man.
And everybody I met was super nice. It was such a good group of people that showed up.
Too. It was a really fun time.
Yeah, we had a good time, and I know all the celebrities were really happy that they were part of it, because I know a lot of times when you're in TV and radio, you get asked to do charity events, which is great, but a lot of times you got to kind of work them. You got to be the MC or you got to be the host, and there's a lot of work involved with that. And so when we did this event, I reached out to all these people that I've worked with before, and I know, and I said, look, all you have to do is show up and bowl. Just come and have fun and bowl. And I think that's almost like a weight off their back sometimes because they don't have to do anything. They just got to come have fun.
I had to put on a bear suit.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I was brought over to the corner hey, we got this bear suit. We're trying to raise some extra money.
It wasn't even a real issued bear suit. It was like some amateur hour BS bear suit.
Well, because...
That was. That bear suit, so a little bit of context, we sold 50-50 raffle tickets, which, like you said, we raised $4,000 doing the raffle tickets, which was crazy because people were just dropping $500 buying tickets. And
I was not doing that. I wish I had. I wish.
We asked you, Tom, if you would be willing to put on the bear suit if we got to a certain amount,
He
And
wasn't
we
happy
definitely
about
got
it.
to
He
that
was
amount.
bitching about it the whole time. When he walked up and saw the
what
bear
am I supposed to
suit.
say, Buster?
Yeah, when he walked up and saw the bear suit, and he's like, you got to understand, this is a businessman that's rocking a medium T-shirt. He's happy about the way he looks. He's got his hair combed perfectly. He's got shoes for the news on, and he walks up, he sees the bear suit. He looked at me, and he's like, what the hell is this? Did you do this? Is this amateur hour? What the hell's happening?
Yeah. And then, when you come through, you're like, hey, we're trying to raise and get to that last threshold, another
And we just
$1,000.
watched the video, and we're looking into the eyes of Rosie, and Rosie's mom is there. She's such a sweet woman.
And then you're like, hey, would you put this on? What am I supposed to say?
Yeah.
What am
I was
I
waiting
know,
for you
like
to
a
say,
DM?
no, I'm not doing that. That's not my
There's
life
no way
anymore.
out.
I've moved on.
I had to do it.
There was no way
Anyway.
out. And then they started
I'm
playing.
joking.
Then they started playing Old Tom Van. Pardon me.
No, I know.
A song that I wrote. That's a parody song
Yeah.
of old. What's his name?
Yeah. And
That
then
was all Ryan.
And
That was
then,
all Ryan.
and then everybody-
DJ Sharp is playing my songs, and then Maisie runs up to me and she goes, "Why is he doing this to you?" She goes, "Why are they playing your songs? This is embarrassing." And she wanted to
Yeah.
leave. Maisie was yelling at me.
And then everybody at Real Radio and Bradshaw's there.
They're like, ha ha ha! Look at you, still a couple of clowns. Clown and a half.
Yeah. Can't tell you. He goes and starts his own podcast. Still a clown.
Yeah, clown and a half.
I will say that is a sort of hand-me-down bear costume. I wore that to the Orlando Solar Bears game during the teddy bear toss.
Oh God! There's no telling what
Well,
you did in that because you're a pervert.
I
That
also
does have some Bustecker sweat inside
I bet.
that bear
I bet.
costume.
It's got the real. Yeah.
I also stole it, so it wouldn't happen again. This way, Bustecker won't ask me to wear this
If you
again.
control the bear suit, you control the message.
Anyway, that's not what I called you about, Bustecker.
Okay. Okay.
I called you
Yeah.
about something completely
This
different.
is all good and well.
Are you gonna sort of tell everybody how you did? Is that what you're calling me about?
Well, it sort of has to do with that, and I legitimately thought about not talking about this and just moving on because it would be a lot cleaner. Just never mentioning it, because I said to myself, I was like, what good is going to come from me talking about this? It's just going to cause a controversy. It's going to cause a bunch of people that may or may not be competitive to be mad at me, or
Is this where
listeners to think differently
Is
of
this
me.
where we out the celebrities who left early? Because
No,
I have them listed on a piece of paper,
No,
and
stop.
I am
Well,
ready.
Drew Garabo did leave early, but to his credit, he went back to Tampa to be at another cancer charity event.
Yeah, he did double cancers. He did
Yeah,
a double
yeah.
cancer.
So
No, that's not who I was talking about, but I have another
Okay.
list. I have a whole other list.
So I was never going to mention this and just let it go and move on, and then everybody would have never known, and no one would be the wiser, and it was a popular, like a great event, and everybody would have left happy. But
I think he did, yeah.
I have to mention it because last night I was tossing and turning. I couldn't sleep. Visions of me holding up the first place trophy.
Well, you haven't even really declared that. Who you were.
Yeah.
I mean, go ahead and say, or you're not
Well-
good at saying this. This is why he hasn't said it. Tom, yes, like when we did this on Saturday, out of all of the celebrities on all of the lanes, Tom was the celebrity champion. Congratulations, buddy.
He was.
Congrats. There
High
you
score
go.
for a celebrity bowler.
Well,
go.
this is what I wanted to talk about because
Okay.
I also
You did a 137, right?
The trophy that you gave away were
Beautiful.
huge.
It was beautiful.
like
Maisie wanted that trophy. She's got her
2 foot
eyes
tall.
on the trophy. She loves trophies.
And then when I brought it home, on Saturday, then my son saw it, and then they
What'd
were
they think of the champ?
Max was hugging my legs,
Yeah.
and he was like, "Congratulations!"
Yeah. How'd it feel?
man.
How'd it feel?
It was the only trophy I've ever won that my sons have ever seen.
Yeah.
First place.
How do you
I
feel?
finally made you a hero in your son's eyes.
Yeah, you really did. That's all you've ever wanted.
Which is also why I was tossing and turning last night.
Yeah. What did the
and
crows
then
say?
She don't care.
Okay,
She don't
all
care
right.
about nothing.
No heroes. Heroes home.
No.
Okay.
She's like, everybody else must have sucked, right?
The chat room is supporting you. This is Hot Tom Summer. First he gets ripped, and now he's winning big trophies. I agree,
man.
You're living your best life.
I'm not ripped.
You achieved your best shape. You're winning bowling competitions.
So-
you're a modern day Fred Flintstone.
Back off, ladies. He's taken.
Yeah.
So
Strike zone.
and this didn't even really dawn on me until my drive home, and then I started thinking about it, so. What had happened was that during the first bowling game, right? I had a great team. I had Todd.
I had a great team, the best team.
I had Todd, his brother, his son Landon.
Yep.
They were super nice. And I'll tell a story about me and Landon competing for $100 later.
That was embarrassing.
And then me and then me walking to the ATM and getting out $100
with a $4 surcharge. Yeah.
All right, and having to pay at a charity event $13.
You're going to bet somebody and not have cash on it.
Well, I thought I was going to win because he wasn't even trying hard.
He had been sandbagging the first game. He was doing nothing. Then he just turned on the heat.
Anyway, but it's not about that. I'll tell you that later. Anyway, so during the first game, we were playing, having a good time. Everybody's having a good time. And so I was playing really well. Like, for whatever reason.
You're very calm when you bowl. You're very dialed in.
Like, I don't do the curve deal or anything. I just bowl straight.
Yeah, but it's straight and it's very delicate.
Slow.
It's the most delicate you've ever been. I have a whole bit that I'm writing about this because your wife wants you to give, like, delicate hands. The only time I've ever seen you have delicate hands is when you lay that ball in that oil, man. You lay it down so nicely and it just goes straight.
Well, my hands are so numb that when I can't feel
it works.
It
works.
Anyway, so I was bowling well, and I bowled a couple of strikes, some spares.
No, you were the king of spares, man. Consistent.
I was hitting spares consistently. In fact, I think that first game I didn't have any strikes. It was all just spares.
I think you had
7 spares.
I don't think you had maybe one open frame.
Yeah. And it was because I was bowling straight. So around frame 7 or 8.
I was bowling gay.
And around frame 7 or 8, I bowled, knocked down 9 pins. I was doing this for a while, for the first 5 frames. And so I hit 9 pins, and I was picking up that extra pin fairly easy because I was like, for whatever reason, straight and slow.
You were locked in, man.
Locked in. And so 1 pin was left, but instead of leaving that 1 pin up, the entire
the machine
lane, the machine reset and then put back 10 pins.
Yeah.
Right? But left my frame open, so it was 9, and then where I would try to bowl the second time.
It didn't give you the opportunity to bowl.
And then I remember my team making a joke. We're like, oh, what happened?
I saw that part.
And then we're like, if I bowl again, will it give me double whatever? And then I'm not taking it seriously. We're like, my team's just there to have fun. Everybody's there to have fun.
Yeah.
So anyway, I bowl again and knock down some pins, and then it just switches to the next player and then leaves my frame empty.
Yeah.
Right?
It was 9 in an open frame.
Yeah. So then another player on my team, I believe his name is Chris. He was the best bowler on our team.
Yeah, he was good.
He got on the computer and started trying to go back to and then open it back. Oh, he's like, how do I open the second frame? How do we do
He's
this?
Trying to go in there and put it in manually.
Like you can't reset the pins to 1.
Yeah.
Like it won't let you reset back to 1, right? So then he was like, he was trying to figure it out. We're all there hanging out, drinking, like no one is concerned, right?
Right.
And so then after about 5 minutes, he was messing with it. I finally just said, forget about it. Just leave it open. Leave it, where I didn't. He's like, no, you were hitting spares every single time. You're like, I'm going to give you a spare. And so he changed it to spare and then moved to the next frame, right? So,
all right.
So then I went on with my bowling, whatever, and I remember I bowled a 137, which is not that high, and I never even thought I had a chance for best bowler, but and then I just went on. Then the next game, after a considerable amount of more White Claw.
It was all in the dumper. Everybody's scores were like single digits.
Yeah. Then I even break 100, and then I lost $100 to a 13-year-old, and there's a lot of things
Well,
happened.
the one we went head-to-head, you got the 137, I got a 110.
So then, next thing you know, like it's the end of the day, and Bus Decker's up there with the mic announcing different things. I didn't even, like, I was putting on my shoes. Everybody was kind of getting ready to leave.
Yeah. We're packing up.
I'm clapping for Mo. I'm clapping for Trooper Steve.
Yeah. Oh, it was good. Did you see his car? Trooper Steve's got a cool car. I got a picture in front of Trooper Steve's car.
Oh, what does he have? I didn't even see it.
Oh, it's like a badass truck. It's like it's like a truck.
So then Bus Decker all of a sudden he's like, I got to announce best celebrity bowler, and then you call my name. Now
he said, it pains me to do this. He
yeah,
couple little light
which made me happy.
Couple light insults.
Which is another reason I thought about not telling you either this, Bus Decker, because Bus Decker was so mad that I did get best celebrity bowler, and he had to give me.
Mad.
You were disappointed. You were disappointed.
That the other celebrities didn't beat you is what it really was.
Which also made me but I have to get this off my chest and admit that it's kind of stolen valor because I did not earn that spare in frame number 7.
Where's the trophy now?
And so my question is, Bus Decker, do you remember the score for second place?
I tried to get him this morning.
I do not know the scores, but I do have Kurt, who owns the bowling alley, going back to check on it.
Wake him up. Wake up, Kurt. Whatever it takes.
I don't know how long it's going to take him to get it. I mean, it might be
whatever it takes.
Today.
Hold on.
Throw money at it. I want to subpoena the numbers. Have Mo subpoena the numbers. Kurt, get those numbers.
Now, I started to look, because then I was like, well, maybe, okay, let's just say I did, bowl a gutter.
Yeah, but nobody knows how to add up spares.
Well, I started.
Nobody knows how to do that, because a 7 in a spare is different than an 8 in a spare or a 2 in a spare.
Well, apparently the number, the next frame after you bowl a spare is what gives you the double.
Right.
So,
it is. Yeah. So that next frame, whatever you roll, you add a 10. You add 10 plus whatever you get from that next frame. So if you rolled a 6, you got 16. If you roll an 8, you got an 18.
So we'd have to go back and figure out what my score would have been with a non-spare.
Who did you keep from getting who is the rightful king? It's C-Lane. I bet it's C-Lane.
I think, worst case scenario, it's a 127.
It's Michelle Imperato.
So
it's her. You stole the trophy from...
I don't know who was close to you. I'd have to
was
go
it Bradshaw?
back and look and see who was close to you.
Was it Jack Bradshaw? Because he was running his mouth like
his lane was good. I don't know if he did good. I know people on his lane did real well.
So it could.
And Sabrina was the worst, right? That was like.
Technically, somebody on her lane was the worst. She accepted on their behalf.
My pardon. I apologize. Right. I apologize.
Now, if the next...
I know Sean Watson was saying that he's a good bowler, too.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, a lot of people...
a lot of people had some big barking bowlers, man.
And if the next best bowler was under 127, then I don't think it matters, because even if you took 10 points away, you know what I'm saying?
This is maybe the worst thing... This may be the worst thing you've ever done, is cheat at a charity event.
I didn't even realize, because by the time I got up there and I was accepting the trophy, I had
I've only worked with one
claws.
person. I've only worked with one person that was paid to do a charity event and kept the money, and I'll keep his name quiet. But you may take the cake for cheating at the event. And
I didn't
stealing
cheat.
The trophy that Rosie's mom and Mo probably paid out of the prize money?
No, Mo, not out of the prize money.
Out of the prize money,
No, Mo just paid
out
for
of the
that.
bottom line.
No, Mo paid for that himself. And,
you're basically stomping on the toys that we're going to go to.
That's what I think.
No, it has nothing to do with that. No, it's just a trophy that for celebrities. And listen, I know all these celebrities. They don't care about this trophy.
Do Rosie's adventures include cheating at bowling alleys? Is that one of the adventures you can go on?
Now, I will...
'Cause that's terrible, dude.
I will say I cannot give the trophy back because I can't let my sons know that I didn't win this, because it made them so proud of me. Now, I don't care.
We're trapped.
Yeah,
nothing can be done.
I know it's stolen valor. I'm telling the world that it's stolen valor, and
So don't tell it. What if we told your sons? What if I told your sons?
They won't believe me. I'll punch you in the face. I'll hold you down. I'll be like, this man's a liar.
Correct answer. That is the correct answer. You have to stop me.
I will try to get the official scores from Kurt. It just might take a little time, but I'll let you know if you may have still actually won, because most of the bowlers, celebrity bowlers, were in the double digits. So at least you were in the triple digits.
I was in the triple as well. Let it be known. I got a 110.
Oh, okay.
You beat me.
Even if I didn't get that spare, I would have beat you.
Let it be known that these two guys on this show are trashy and can at least put up triple digits. Okay.
So I just had to tell you, Mo.
This isn't Mo. This is Bus Decker.
I was going to say I need you to tell Mo too, since you're Mo's right hand man.
And tell Forrest.
Yeah. I didn't want to bother Mo by texting
Fowler,
him.
Tell everybody. Tell everybody.
Yeah, well, I'm announcing it to the world now, and all.
This is your press conference.
Yeah. That I didn't mean to do it. It was actually the person on my team that did it. I didn't change it. I wanted to just keep going.
Blame.
Yeah.
Well, Bussecker gave you the trophy. It's his fault too.
And then when you gave me the trophy, let's just say that at that period of time, I had forgotten about that whole incident, and I was more concerned about grabbing the mic. And
you were also drunk. You put it in front of you, and you started air humping like it was a phallic symbol.
Yeah. And then I was happy that Bussecker was mad that I won because of the bear suit.
Then you started riffing and doing a little bit of stand up on the mic. You're doing
it's my time to shine.
This does give me an idea, though, Tom. I think once a week or maybe once a month, you should just go to the trophy store and bring home a new trophy and show your kids.
No, well, because
have you shown them the ones we have in here?
Yeah.
We have a couple trophies in here you can take.
No.
You were the best this or the best that.
Hey, who won?
Awesome dad.
Who won best dressed?
So there was two best dressed. There was one that was best celebrity dressed, and then there was best non-celebrity or best non-bowler.
Okay.
And so of all the celebrities. And this was not me picking. It was a group effort.
No.
I thought that Brenda from Bithlo took the most time to get ready as a celebrity. So Brenda from Bithlo got best celebrity.
I mean,
dress.
Samantha,
the person that you do a show with,
Samantha from Semantics podcast, and you heard about this one, which you can sign up to be part of her Patreon. You can check out her show.
She had a whole Big Lebowski.
Her way around Tom and Dan Land, was a producer here for many years. Not very happy with you because she had multiple people dressed up. I mean, you had the Jesus, you had all the characters, and everybody. I don't know, man. I don't know.
It's true. And then the one who got best, non-celebrity, non-bowler, whatever, there was two people that showed up as Twister, one dressed as a cow and then one dressed as a tornado. And they were with Tom Sorrells, the former meteorologist.
That's a good one.
And so I thought that was really good, too. So, maybe next year.
Wow. He's sowing the seeds in the chat. I mean, I've never seen Samantha use more capital letters. I can't even say what she said in our chat room right now.
They were not happy.
Yeah, they're not happy at all. I got to go Team Sam on this. I mean, there's 6 people in costume.
Yeah, you got 6 people. Big Lebowski.
I don't think it was 6. Go back. Wait. Go back and look at that photo. I don't think all 6 of them were together. I think 4 of them did.
Well, I'm just saying.
I don't know if all 6 of them did.
Man, this is a real honor.
You got the Big Lebowski. You got someone theming their entire lane around Tom Sorrells, and then you got Brenda from Bithlo, who no offense to Brenda, but I've seen a lot of times dress up in drag at many different events. This is nothing special for Brenda.
Well, to that end, I also saw a few people dressed as Big Lebowski characters that weren't on Samantha's team, too. There was a few walkers.
Sam's going to have to get you on the show and hash this out, man. Wow, you were ready for the arguments.
All right, Bussecker. Well, when you find out the scores, let us know.
Yeah, and congrats on the great event, man. We love you, and we love Mo, and I'm glad that one went well. That was a lot of fun, dude.
It was a lot of fun. I appreciate you all for being there.
And thanks for letting my family hang out. That was super fun, man. Maisie had never been bowling, and I've never taken her bowling or to the movies, and it's fun to get her out there and let her do some of the things that poor people like to do.
Yeah. And I will say, before I get off here, September 5th, the Just Call Mo Comedy Jam. Tickets are going on sale now. All you got to do is go to MoComedyJam.com.
There you go. MoComedyJam.com.
Wait until I win that one.
Well, what are we winning there? Yeah. Sam's not going to dress up for that one because she got slighted.
Oh, Sam's not going to talk to me anymore.
I know. Oh, you're going to have to do something, man. All right, buddy. We'll talk to you soon.
All right.
Later.
All right. See ya.
Be good. John Bustecker, live from his.
Well, I feel better now.
Live from
we
his
can move on.
bed of lies.
I also had another experience that I'm not used to. So
What happened?
The person that bit on me, I've done a lot, and you've done a lot of these, like celebrity bowling, golf tournaments, whatever, local,
Skeet shooting, putt golf.
A lot of times.
Cooking. Have you done the cooking? Yeah, you and I did it, right?
Yeah.
We did celebrity cooking one time. That was the one that you had a heart attack in your car on the way to the cooking event.
No, did we say it? Did we actually do that?
Yeah, we were on our way there, and I got to the event, and you had a heart attack in your car. You had a heart attack in your Forester. This is when you were fat, and you had a heart attack in your Forester. And your wife called the ambulance, and you're on the side of the road. And then they're like, "Where's Tom? He's supposed to be at this charity event." I'm like, "He's on the side of the road having a heart attack because he's fat."
I was fat, and I used to do one scoop of kratom before I worked out.
He do one big scoop of kratom before you worked out. It did make you work out harder. It's also just straight green cocaine. Why isn't anybody reporting that kratom is green cocaine?
It made my heart go crazy.
It did. That was a scary one where I was sitting at the hotel bar having a beer.
Crystal should have never called the ambulance. I just pulled over and I called her. And then I was like, I'm having some sort of problem.
I was sitting at the hotel bar, and the bartender comes up and he goes, "Hey, what can I get you?" I was like, just give me a Bud Light." He's like, "Hey, why the long face? You all right?" I was like, my business partner is fat. He's having a heart attack in his Subaru Forester, and his wife called 911 to save his life. And he's like,
nothing was wrong with me.
Really? I'm like, yeah.
They came. I rolled down the window, and I was like, I'm
just
fine.
A little bit. Sovereign citizen.
And they're like, "You all right?" And they brought the whole fire truck, and I'm like, "God damn it!" And then I'm like, "I'm fine. I'm sorry. My wife
and then you showed up late, and you didn't want me to tell everybody, but dude, telling me not to say that, and like.
I know, you told everybody.
I did. I'm like, this guy had a fart attack.
Yeah. You're telling the homeless people with no IDs.
They're like, I don't have an ID. I'm like, great. This guy just had a fart attack on the side of the road, and his wife had to call the ambulance.
God damn it, that's embarrassing.
You know what he had to show to the ambulance? His ID, and you'll get an ID too.
So, anyway, we've done a lot of celebrity tournaments of some sort throughout the years. Right?
When does that wane? When do they stop calling when they're like, "Oh, you're not a celebrity anymore"?
No, I think as long as we are doing this podcast and we're involved in some sort of radio, I think that they'll always ask. Like
so?
Local, someone will always ask.
But if you start saying no, they dry up. I bet.
Yeah, but I don't.
Like Jim Colbert says no to everything, and that's why nobody asks him to do anything anymore.
Yeah.
It dries up.
But now, I mean, if it's him, I mean, it is like kind of work, but it's a small amount, and it's for a good cause. We do it.
Oh, it's the best, yeah.
So anyway, but in the past, and what I'm familiar with is usually the people that.
I'm sorry, because the chat room said, "Was
you
Seth
shut up."
The chat room's like, "Was Seth there?" And I'm thinking, was he there? And I don't think he was.
Yeah.
And then the chat room also was reminding me of Seth pulling out his penis at the bowling alley when your mom was there, and that's a story for another day.
I think he got in a thong, and I think my mom exaggerated. The Vans are known for exaggeration.
Tall tales. They tell the tall tales.
Yeah. And so anyway, we've been doing these celebrity tournaments a lot, and usually the people that bid on them are rich dudes, right? Because that's, you bid to play on a golf team or bowling alley or
Frog
whatever.
blob.
And they're rich.
Am I allowed to say that?
They're a rich old man. There was some rich old man we called Frog Blob a long time ago in the radio days. Anyway, so I'm.
He was really rich.
I'm familiar with rich old men. Like hanging out with them giving me money, then and or like not money.
You get in their Mustang.
They pay. No, not of the.
I didn't say
but
it.
It's like they.
We are controlled by old men's money. Is that what you're trying to say?
I remember back in the radio days, like rich fans or listeners of the show would like often buy me things. Remember the guy who bought me a TV?
Yeah.
He was kind of a bet, but it was weird. He's like he bet me I wouldn't jump the Hummer newcomers.
I had no respect for you during those days. I did have less.
You got no respect for me now.
No, I have respect for you now, but back then I had
very
less.
little.
I'd be like, this guy's a whore for the TVs. He's a TV whore.
I didn't ask for it. He just said, "I bet you the TV." I was like, "All right, I'll take the bet." And
then he would I'd be like, "How do you get the TV?" And you'd tell me, you'd be like, "Well, he has to come over. He's gonna bring it. And then I have to hang out with him for a couple hours." I'm like, "That sounds like a whore."
Well, it is.
He's a whore, and I was like, "I can't do that. I don't want to hang out with that old man."
It's whore adjacent.
It's whore adjacent.
Yeah.
That's fair.
I mean, just hanging out.
Just a couple of bros hanging out with a box TV.
You're just going to dinner. Whatever happens.
Just a couple of bros that set a timer for how long they hang out until the TV. You give me the TV.
Whatever happens after dinner has nothing to do with the amount he paid me. That's what dinner only. Anyway, so I'm familiar with this.
Yes.
I've been doing it my whole career, right? But the problem is I'm getting older, right? And so I'm now 42.
Yeah, those TVs are drying up.
Well, a lot of it is dried up, and it lent itself to millionaires or rich people giving me more when I was the poorest. Like they knew I was poor,
right?
And I would talk about being poor. Radio
but
didn't
you've
pay.
come up now,
and then now I'm not poor anymore. I'm not by any means
I'm not
rich.
gay no more.
I guess you could consider me rich, depending. Rich is subjective. During my poorest, I would consider current day Tom rich, but now I don't see. It doesn't feel rich. But anyway, I've achieved more, right?
Yeah,
but not too much. But just a good living.
It's like when they give you there's good, there's better, then there's best. You're in the better stage.
So, but a lot of our listeners make way more and are doing way better, right? And those listeners, and this kind of ties into a story I'm going to tell on the BDM show later today.
Yeah, if you're not a BDM, sign up to be a BDM at tomandan.com/registration. Use the love meter.
So, this gentleman who bid to bowl with me, his name is Todd, and like I said, went
to school with my wife. I grew up with his family, and he brought his brother Matt, who I'm a huge fan of.
Yeah,
love that guy.
And his son Landon, super nice people.
Yeah, they're the best.
Very nice. The entire time, Todd was spending an insane amount of money on charity tickets. In fact, he
very much helped out the charity.
Yeah, very gracious and putting a lot of money towards.
We had a really good time. It was great.
And so he, we're having a good time. When I first met him, I had never met him before. I assumed, just like before, rich old guy, because he worked in construction. He owned his own company.
Right.
In my visual of him was 68 years old, maybe even in the early 70s.
Is it bothering you that there are younger people richer than you? Is
that
no. Is that where we're at?
It just, when I first met him, I was looking around, I was like, where's the rich old dude? And then all of a sudden, there's a group standing there, and then I'm like, are you playing? He's like, yeah, I'm Todd. I'm like, hey, nice to meet you. And then he did have gray hair, so I was like, maybe he just looks younger.
He's a young daddy.
Yeah. And then as we started talking, he's like, I'm 40 years old. 40!
Yeah.
And
it rattles you a little bit, right?
The fact that he's younger than me, and then also after the tournament, he brought his son's old computer.
Here's some trash from my house. I'm going to give this to you since I'm a younger rich guy. Hey, older not rich guy, younger rich guy here. Here's some trash from my house.
He listens to the show. His son is no longer a computer gamer. Is on to the next thing.
My son's being tough now. Here's a computer for your weak sons who are in their computer phase.
And then he heard that then Max's birthday was coming up. I wanted to get him a computer to play.
Oh man, there's nothing I wanted more when I was Max's age than a hand-me-down computer.
Well, he doesn't know. My sons think I bought this.
There's nothing I wanted more.
They don't know.
I was like, oh my god, I hope my dad gets me something from one of his friends. Please.
They don't know.
Don't give me anything new, Daddy. I hope you give me something old.
No, they think I bought this. They think I won first place.
What do you tell them that's real?
I don't tell them anything.
Their whole world is lies.
No, I just let them.
Fake trophies, hand-me-down computers.
No, they don't ask too many questions. They're not like, oh, did you buy this computer?
Oh, Maisie Snoop's like crazy.
No,
man.
My sons don't ask nothing. They're like me. They just live their life.
Maisie's like, what is this? I didn't want this.
So anyway, it's I've now reached the time in my life where I'm still doing these celebrity tournaments, but the people I'm playing with are more successful.
Which means it's more sad. It's sadder now. It's more sad now.
They're more successful and younger than me, which I just never thought this day would come.
I had a lot of people coming up to me and ask me like, "Hey, are you going to be all right?"
About what?
Bowling. Like, I don't think they thought physically I couldn't. Like, a lot of people were like, hey, are you going to be able to do this? Are you going to be able to pick it up and roll it down the lane? Do you have the strength?
Well, that's because of all the stuff you make fun of yourself so much, and they think that you actually really have a disability.
A lot of it, like, I walk into the bathroom, people are like, oh, yeah, I see it. I see the limp. I see it. He waddles.
Anyway,
I'm sorry that you're having to deal with that.
Yeah. It's
but don't go questioning it too much, man, because they're everywhere. They're everywhere now.
Well, it's odd, and I know this. Maybe someone can't relate to this, but in my mind, like, let's say if I'm at a celebrity bowling tournament with like Ross Tucker, former NFL player, that I now have his cell phone number.
You'd talk him crazy, wouldn't you?
And so,
when's the last time you texted him?
I'm waiting 1 full year.
You think about it a lot, though, don't you?
Because if I text him before a full year, it'd be like,
think about it a lot.
Delete my number.
But you think about it, right?
Oh, I want to get him back on the show.
And you'll be laying in bed and you'll be like,
And so,
hey, Ross, it's Tom.
But if he invites me to, and there's the BDM show, I'll talk about it. But if he invites me to do anything or whatever, he's richer than I am.
Yeah.
So his house is nicer. Everything
like, hey,
he has, his car's nicer.
I've got some old computers in my garage.
Yeah. It'd be weird if he was poorer than I was, and then I went to his house and his less, you know what I'm saying, and then like I'm giving him old computers for his sons.
Oh, you're giving him.
Yeah. It would be an odd, and then I wonder how odd it is for the listeners to give.
So you think it was odd for Todd?
Yeah. Or any of our listeners to be richer than I am, and he listens to me, and they're more successful. I think that's an odd thing for a listener, like an odd place for a listener to be.
But you place no value on number of people who know who you are. You only place it on monetary value, right?
Yeah. People knowing who I am as
you'd have to go tit for tat, like and itemize like everything you guys have.
No, he's got more.
But you have to do that in your brain. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I know he's richer.
You can never talk to him again then.
By the fact that they play in these celebrity tournaments and donate so much money to charity already shows.
Have you ever been tempted to do that?
I cannot afford it.
Okay,
I cannot afford to. I mean, I don't know.
I can't do that.
Pay $5,000 of like or whatever.
Not gonna happen.
2,500. No. Like just throw around thousands to charity.
I donate to a GoFundMe. Andrea will call me and be like, "What was that?" Like,
like me and Daniel
I had a
donate.
friend that had cancer. I gave him some money.
Yeah, we donate their money throughout the year, and it may end up be at thousands at the end of the year, but never all at once.
No.
You know, we have
I don't
to
have that kind of money.
Yeah, we have to spread it out a little bit.
I also have to ask you, take a little from this account, take a little from that account.
Yeah, I gotta tell my wife if I've been
transfer
donating.
The PayPal,
and then she's like, like $3,000.
Andrea will look at me. She's like, you can't give to everything.
Anyway, so that's it. That's how I'm just telling the truth.
I like that. At least I got in my head. They said you and I were going tit for tat. You know, we had our first game. We were supposed to bowl against each other.
Yeah,
and I was hanging with you, and then I just kept seeing my score fall. Because I don't bowl. Me and May and Andrea, bowling is not a thing that we do. It's not in my blood like it is you. And I was so nervous, and I tried hard. I did break 100. I willed that to happen. I blood-eyed that. But there was no way I was catching you. You have it in the blood. You're a natural bowler.
Well,
it looks effortless with you. You look like you're supposed to be there with a beer in your hand and a ball in your hand, sir. It's kind of cool.
My sons do like bowling, and I've gone probably a dozen times.
We had a great time.
2 years, which I haven't bowled. When's the last time you bowled?
The last charity event I did. I'm going to have to go more. Maisie loved it.
Years ago.
Yeah, Maisie loved it. Like, she's super competitive, so we're going to have to do more of it.
Anyway, thanks to everybody who showed up.
Appreciate you guys.
Good seeing everybody.
If you want to hear more of those stories, you can always sign up to be a BDM at tomandan.com/registration.
There was a guy on your team, I felt bad because I started using his ball and I didn't realize it. Because I thought they were all just the Oviedo bowling alley's balls.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize, and I'm like, this ball's nice.
Oh, this is great.
And then he's like, he didn't care. He's like, keep using it. But I was like, I feel like that's a faux ball, using someone's ball without asking him, right?
I think without asking him, because he might need it or he might be up next.
And then it only has a certain amount of rolls to it, right? Like, it does get dinged up, and then eventually they have to retire it, right?
The ball?
Or redo it or or something? Right?
You know what? That is an excellent question. I do not know about that.
Like, it only has, like, let's say 800 throws before it has to be refurbished. I don't know. It has to,
I know
right?
they refurbish them. You take them back, and then they clean them, and then they smooth them out or whatever.
Because they must get micro dents from the whole process and stuff that, the wear and tear makes them worse.
I never think about that.
I mean, the guys that are really serious, I'm sure. They probably bowl.
That's why they always have the chamois. And
and they probably don't bowl over a certain amount with one ball before they redo it.
I don't know. We're gonna have to get a weird job bowman.
I think we did one time, but I don't think we. I think we asked about being a professional.
It's been
bowler.
long enough. We can do it again. You know, everything's cyclical. All right, guys.
We'll take a break. We'll be right back with more Corporate Time. Welcome to Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. We are live on YouTube and also on Twitch. Just search Tom and Dan Live. Every Monday through Friday, we record all of our shows here in the beautiful Just Call Mo studio, and we'd love for you to join us. So also, that's Twitter, that's on Twitch, and also on YouTube, Tom and Dan Live.
Also, if you want to become a BDM, that's our subscription service that we've had for over 10 years. It's a great community of people. You can get in the BDM only Facebook. You can network in there. You can
make friends. You can meet somebody, cheat on your wife, destroy your family. If you'd like to do, we've had multiple.
How many marriages have you ended?
We've had multiple men and women.
We created some though.
Yeah.
We created.
So you're a net negative or negative positive.
Yeah, no, we're net negative. It's more hardship. We've had more hardship than love connections.
I've met 2 or 3 BDMs that met at a BDM event, got married, and now have kids.
Yep. That's true.
Because it's been 10 years.
That's true. I know people that went on one of our very first cruises, cheated on their husband or wife on that cruise, and then are still with the person they cheated on with. That's pretty good.
I was like, I'd be more impressed if they were still with the one that they cheated on.
No,
they stayed together.
That doesn't work.
It
doesn't work like that. It
hasn't told them that they cheated, but you knew about the cheating.
No, that's not. Look, that's not on me. But I have had women write me and go like, "How dare you?" Like, I didn't.
It's your fault. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm guilt by association.
I haven't cheated on nobody. I can't cheat on Andrea. Can't even control my own life.
Oh, people get mad at us as if we had something to do with it.
I was like,
you picked them first. It's your fault.
It's your husband. Oh, my God.
We just put on a party. They came and got drunk. Like,
I didn't do that.
They cheated on cheated on you. Is that we just supplied the part. You're gonna blame a Ruby Tuesdays.
Yeah, you can't blame Ruby Tuesdays.
Or whatever.
Gummy Bear Margarita. Maybe you should blame yourself, and maybe you let yourself go. Maybe you weren't servicing him enough.
Yeah.
Is there a person out there that wants to go to Ruby Tuesdays?
I do.
They love Ruby
Tuesdays. My father loved the salad bar.
I was going to say, Andrea Dennis and Dan Dennis, we love a good salad bar. We are pro Ruby Tuesdays, much like we are pro sweet tomatoes.
All right. I prefer Chili's.
Let's get into it.
Here we go.
Yeah. Nerds. Yeah. Nerds. Yeah. Nerds.
Jock, nerd, jock, nerd.
It is Nerd Jock with EJ. How you doing, EJ?
Good. I just got back from New York. I had a good time.
Nice.
That was fun.
We didn't ask.
We don't care about your life. We just need you to tell the stories.
He was leading us. I just got back from New York. Did Pokemon Go Fest. We don't effing care. You can take that first story and flush it down the toilet.
Yeah, just give us the stories.
You can make comments. I'm a straight man. You guys be mean to me. That's fine.
I mean, but tell us a little bit about it.
No.
Is there anything different?
Let's do the jock stuff.
No, let us hurt your feelings.
No, you guys probably got the queued up national anthem. You want to make fun of the lady.
No.
Let's do
I don't want to
first.
make fun of the lady. I have a different take on that.
You have a different. You think it's on purpose to get advertising?
I don't think that really.
It's a Carl Lewis.
And then we've got a couple listeners. Charles, who's in there, he's saying that it's not her fault, that she was supposed to have some sort of auto-tune on there, and that it would have been the production staff. My angle on that, Charles, would be, if you're singing the national anthem, you shouldn't have auto-tune. That's just, I'm always a big believer. Like, I can sing the national anthem alone. She should be able to sing the national anthem freestanding and alone. Yeah. No auto-tune, that's on her. And if you're choosing auto-tune before you do the national anthem and it gets messed up. Check. Well, if it gets messed up, it's on you. It is on you because you were the one choosing to use auto-tune. And I don't think you should do that. It's disrespectful to do that.
Well, technically, it's the Home Run Derby or MLB that chose this person to sing. You're supposed to choose a singer.
Yeah.
Well,
Doesn't she sing?
We've done this before.
Well, if she needed auto-tune, then she's not really a singer, right?
We've done this before. Like Kay Rollins, back in the day when things are a little more hands-on. I don't know how they do it now, and I would imagine she doesn't do it now because she's, very high-profile lady in soccer, but we would choose them ourselves. That's why you would get a lot of people that we knew and we know can crush it, like Naomi Bradshaw.
Yeah, a singer.
The reason you'll see her at Orlando City singing it so many times is because she's really effing good at it, dude.
Yeah.
And it is very, very hard to do. Now, this particular girl, I've listened to her country music and everything, and here, I'll give you a little...
Is her country music have auto-tune, or can she actually sing?
No, she can sing.
Then she can sing the national anthem, right?
Here,
probably not her style.
I'm just going to give this to you. Also, I want you to hear this. This MLB announcer at this park is so good. Here, check this out. We'll put this up.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, please rise if you're able and kindly remove your caps for the presentation of our nation's colors.
Hey, everybody.
It's Harry Carey. He's back from the dead.
If you're able, but please rise for the national anthem.
Oh, I love this guy. This guy's freaking great.
By the Texas Department of Public Safety Honor Guard.
Honor Guard.
All right, they're presenting the colors here. Here she is.
Now to perform the national anthem. Please welcome four-time Grammy-nominated country singer-songwriter Ingrid Andress.
And everybody's like really being mean and saying, like, Grammy nominated. Like, dude, it's a big deal to get Grammy nominated, man. Like, that is a big deal. And then people were making the joke, like, well, she didn't win any Grammys. When have you ever put yourself out there, fat slob? When have you ever stood out in front of millions of people and done
something at the same time?
No, all these people are criticizing and they can't do it.
But she ruined it. It's her.
She did.
Yeah, she deserves the criticism.
She does deserve criticism.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying she doesn't. But I also think that a lot of these people were going real hard.
Oh, say, can you see?
That was the problem there.
I heard. She got a little bad.
I think she lost her key right there on that third note. You can hear her lose it.
By the dawn's early light,
Not that
what
bad.
so proudly we hailed by the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets spread glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof.
She sounds inebriated, right?
Yeah.
And that was the first thing I leaned over and said to Andrea, because I was watching this live. And this is one of the only times I've ever been able to watch something live. And then I immediately pulled up my phone, and then I just kept refreshing it. and then,
Twitter.
dude, like magic, her name came up as a hashtag.
Oof.
And you saw her trending, and I'm like, oh, it's happening. I'm watching this live. And I told Andrea, I go, sounds like she had a couple beers, right? Somebody in the chat room says, she says she's going to check into rehab. Really?
Being drunk?
I could see that. She sounds drunk.
Yeah, but a singer. Oh, man.
It's real bad. That was the
Whitney Houston could sing on crack.
I mean, that's how talented. That's how talented she was.
Yeah.
That's a good point, bad point, because that's just how talented Whitney Houston was.
That's not fair.
I have a feeling
She smoked crack for years. Didn't affect her at all.
I have a feeling if we were able to have used the paddles to give one more jolt to Whitney in the coffin, she would have blasted out better music than this.
See, I'm suspicious about Like,
they're all saying, and I haven't read this yet. The story is currently on TMZ. I'll pull it up. But she was saying she was drunk, and that is correct. You were, and you should just go with that because you sound drunk.
So the problem, I didn't know she was a country singer, right? So that when we were talking
in Texas,
because I assumed, I was like, okay, she's a Grammy nominated singer, which it could be local. Like there's always like the local Emmys and stuff. They do like other types of Grammys. There's not always like the show, the Grammys.
Yeah.
I think that's what, there's lots of different ways you could say Grammy nominated. That's not like the big time Grammy Awards. Anyway.
Yeah, she came out. This is from TMZ. This was, let's see here, about an hour ago. She said, "I'm not going to BS you. I was drunk last night." She said in a statement, "I'm checking myself into a facility today to get help that I need. That was not me last night. It was so bad." Different people are talking about it. I guess she's checking herself into rehab.
It also sounds like a publicist told her to do that.
Maybe it's an excuse, like...
well, I mean, it does sound accurate, though. Like, if I'm just putting the pieces together, because, like, we live in a time where no excuse is good enough, right? We're all like, that's not what really happened. So I'm going to take you on your word. I am. I think you were drunk, you sang it horribly, and you need to go to rehab.
But does being drunk affect your singing that much?
It can.
Like if you were drunk, I feel like you could still sing.
I think you still pull it off, Daniel.
Maybe.
You're not going to all of a sudden turn horrible, right? Like
no, but this though, I believe her. I think she's correct. I think she's correct. I think you guys are being a little unfair.
At first, I thought it was for publicity, and then she cooked this up. She's like, if I sing this bad, it'll be a huge story, and people will know my name, right? And which happened. It's being talked about. It's trending.
I mean, it's not a...
If she did it well, it would have been nothing.
I can't even say this because I'm too old to say this, but this is one of the better things that could have happened to her in launching this new single.
Yeah.
I mean, if she was drunk, and if, let's say she is going to rehab, let's say we believe her face value and she's going, well, then go to rehab, release your single, and you'll be okay.
But the problem, though, and why I'm backtracking a little bit, that this was like a planned publicity stunt, is that she's a country singer. And a country audience don't like,
right.
You're messing up the national anthem.
No, it's the worst thing you can do.
Yeah. So this is bad.
It's why she locked all her comments, too.
If she was like a pop star, which I originally thought she was, then I was like, you could probably get away with it. But country music, this hurts your rep, the bottom line.
She extended an apology to Major League Baseball, sports fans, and the entire country for her performance. I'll let y'all know how rehab is. I hear it's super fun. You know what? Another thing that I added into this is like this is the type of thing where if you're going to do it, and this is why I believe she was drunk, is that most people that I talk to, most normal people that are living their lives as Americans, we were all kind of taking each other's temperature over the past couple of days because it's been weird, right?
Yep.
There's been bad stuff. So you would think that in checking the temperature of the nation and then doing the most important song at America's pastime, that you would probably put it and give it your full effort.
So you think she overdid it while she was getting prepped for this? I needed to have a little bit.
I think she was drunk. I do believe it.
And then you went too far.
Although,
because I don't want to be this person anymore. I'm so sick of it. That's cynical? Not good enough. Give me more. No,
but we've been lied to so much. I have to be cynical about everything.
This doesn't seem like lying, though. It seems like it's adding up.
If you forget the words, that seems like a drunk thing.
It seemed like she did get some of the words wrong. I think in the beginning
she missed a couple words.
Yeah, I think she did miss a couple words.
But yeah, the singing poorly, though, I've never heard of a singer saying that their poor performance singing was caused by alcohol.
I mean, I've done it on the show before. I've had instances on this show where I'll go back and listen to what I'm saying, like earlier on in the show when I was drinking during every show, and I'd be like, "Oh man, that's not good."
Where you're slurring and stuff like that. Is this a version of like slurry singing?
Yeah, that's what that sounds like. Or long talking. We've all known people that long talk when they, are under the influence.
Yeah.
That's what it sounds like to me.
Also, you could just tell people you're checking yourself in the rehab. Never go.
That's what I'm saying. Like, let me see what in a week if she's still in rehab.
Here would be my critique of this. I think that's too much. Like, I think if she were going to handle this, the play would have been to come out and say, I drank too much. I was drunk. I was excited, and I drank too much, and I'm very sorry. I think saying that you're going to rehab
is
maybe
step too far.
Maybe paints a little doubt towards what Tom's saying.
Yeah.
Hold on a second.
Well,
I
that's
think
it.
if you just kept it in the middle and just said like I was drunk, I'm embarrassed.
Yeah, but
and
you have to make people think you have a problem and a disease.
well, then they feel sorry for you.
Yeah, so you can
If you were
save
just,
yourself.
well,
yeah.
why aren't we allowed to make mistakes anymore?
Not allowed.
Yeah, but people are doing like you guys are kind of doing it where like she's giving the excuse and like I don't know. It's like why aren't we allowed to just say like I drank too much of the game and I screwed up the anthem?
Her career, in my mind, is over. No second chance. Hey, listen, you had your chance, and now let someone else
You're dead
go.
to me. You're dead to me.
She should just go with Tenacious D and sing with them this week.
Kyle Gass, you're dead
Kyle
to me.
Gass, let her take Kyle Gass'
You're dead to
spot.
me. We don't joke about stuff like that. We don't make jokes. What are you, a comedy singing duo? Get you're a comedy duo? Get the hell out of here.
Making a joke too soon. Come on.
Like, especially if you...
In Sydney, they're very conservative in Australia. They love guns. There's no guns.
Lots of people that would love to have even the success that she's had, the opportunity to get the singing national anthem.
Publicity.
Yeah, and the fact that she just got drunk before, like didn't get drunk after you sing.
Yeah,
like
you can make a good decision to get drunk.
Like you had your opportunity and you screwed it up for yourself.
Yeah,
career's over.
Well, talking to the home run derby, the guy that won it was from the Dodgers. It's the first time the Dodgers won.
Yeah.
You guys talked to that one guy earlier.
I turned it off as soon as my player was out. Ozuna was out from the Braves, as he's affectionately known. I turned it right off.
Do they still put the kids out there catching?
Yeah. But you know what's really cool? Like maybe you would have liked this part because I know how much you like your family, but it's cool to see the baseball players like act like humans with their family and their other players. They're all like playing jokes on each other, playing pranks. Their kids are out there, their wives are out there, their dads are out there, their grandmas are out there.
Having them mic'd up and like,
it's cool.
I was supposed to win this anyways. Keep it moving.
It's cool. And they're giving each other stick and being really mean to each other.
It's
like
very jock.
When they don't do well, it's super jock. They're like, oh, you suck real bad. Like they're giving it's neat.
You got a hold of that one.
I like it. Like my wife got me into baseball. I'm glad I'm into baseball. It's not for everybody. It is very slow paced and very nostalgia based, but I enjoyed it last night. That was fun.
Did any kid get hit in the head like they did last year? I remember this nerd talk where we talked about it last year.
Yeah.
Some kid got nailed
He tried to
in
catch
the face.
one and hit him right in the face. Yeah. I didn't see any of that.
No, I didn't see any of that, but I did. Like there were some big boy bombs, like 480, 475.
Huge,
It's pretty fun. You know what's interesting about that? And Andrea offered a very interesting question. So the way they do the home run derby is it's you, obviously the hitter, and then you have to select somebody who's going to be your pitcher.
Yeah.
And Andrea's like, it's so inconsistent because normally the reason the person wins is going to be their pitcher.
Yeah.
It's not going to
put the ball in the right place.
Why not use a ball pitching machine
jugs
to keep
machine?
it consistent? Why? And she asked that. She goes, "Why don't they use just a consistent pitching machine and then let the guys decide who wins it?" And I go, "No, that's all part of the nostalgia."
No, you have to get like Cal Ripken throws a couple pitches out there. So if you play for the Orioles, you get that guy throwing to you, and it brings the nostalgia back.
But why
and
not?
everything. Yeah.
Why not make it consistent so you can really see who's the best hitter?
I think because it's more just about the entertainment of them hitting the
Yeah,
most home
I
runs.
agree.
So if you had a pitching machine, like they probably wouldn't hit as many home runs because you get used to the pitcher that's pitching you the ball, and you practice it, and then the pitcher knows exactly where to put it. That you're going to hit the a home run most likely every time or whatever, and that's because that's all it's about. Like they want to see the most home runs possible for the home run derby.
Damn, Grady Seasons is telling me. I mean, this is related, unrelated, but he's saying Kyle Gass from Tenacious D was just dropped by his talent agency.
Yeah, I'm sure there's
rough.
A lot of repercussions.
Yeah, real quick.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. I mean, you would think that they would understand that he's a satirist, but okay.
Yeah, that wouldn't make any sense.
So what else next?
Next strategy. Let's go Copa America at the Miami Gardens Stadium at the Hard Rock. Did you see that? Where all the people were rushing the gates and like climbing through the ventilation system.
How did they not know? I mean, not to say that we've had some pretty huge security gaps over the past couple days, but how do you not know that the most popular final with the most concentration
Argentina
of fans,
and Colombia, they're
how are
definitely
you not
going to
have that locked down? in Miami, where we know things go perfectly every time they do something.
Well,
or is this just the Miami way?
It's the Miami way, for sure. Everyone knew they didn't have tickets. They're like,
Dude,
we're
it was
just going
like
to
an
rush.
hour and a half
We're going to
late.
rush the gate.
I had to turn it off. I'm like, I can't watch this anymore. I got to go to
We're
bed.
going to rush the gate just so we could get into the game. They can't stop all of us, is what they thought.
well, it's true. Like if even in NFL game, wherever game, they don't have enough security guards to stop 70,000 people if they all wanted to rush inside the stadium.
And that's what they did. That's what they did.
Like everybody could do this in every event, and this one, and you'll get in because they're not going to hire an army of security guards.
Yeah.
Is this why you were trying to get everybody to stop paying taxes because they can't stop us?
If we all don't pay taxes, they can't get us all.
We can all destroy the country if we want to do it.
I'm down. Let's do
If
it.
everybody got together.
Civilization is only
Organized chaos.
There's only one policeman for every 300 citizens or more.
Yeah, there were 800 cops there.
It's not enough.
I mean, it's a
not
lot,
enough,
but it's not. It's a lot, but it's not.
You can stop one entrance. That's it. The rest of them are just open.
What I like the most, I saw some videos on TikTok of the people storming in there, is when you hoist up your 6-year-old
to a stranger over the fence,
and they're holding the 6-year-old holding on to the side of the concourse.
He got up.
And they're like,
He got up,
and
too.
doing that move where you're scraping
Kicking
your
your
feet
feet,
up
yeah.
and just
Well, he
trying to
kicked
walk.
his Crocs off. He kicked his Crocs off. His dad had to throw his shoes up after he scaled the wall.
You're like, I'm committing a crime with my baby, and I'm putting my baby first.
Yeah, I would do that. My daughter,
I would throw my son
daughter's
over,
away from me
daughter
right now. I
over,
miss
yeah.
my daughter so much. You know how much
me
fun it
too.
would be to commit crimes with my daughter right now?
So what ended up happening? Because
They just cleared
They
it.
they stopped it. They're like, okay, we're gonna have to delay, and we're gonna check every ticket.
Yeah.
If you're in a seat, you should be fine. But if you're in the aisles, you got to go.
Yeah, they did what they do sometimes when you get into a bar too fast when they're flipping it to put another band on.
Oh,
and they're like, sorry, we got to clear everybody out. Then you walk outside, all right, come back in. And they check your ID again and get you back in there. Pain in the butt, an hour and a half late.
I would have screamed, "Storm it again!" Because
there's a lot less.
hoisting my baby up there.
You want to do it again?
Yeah, but there's already 60,000 people in there. You're only getting 10,000 this time. This is going to be a little bit easier to stop.
They were already loading people in there, and apparently it was only one gate. So the other ones were actually almost ready to go.
My favorite is just watching everyone videoing it as it's going
Another
down.
thing that was funny was listening to the newscasters, the sportscasters that were bringing it to us while we were watching the final, and they realized they were doing it live, and they're like, well, we've just gotten word that we will be delayed by another hour, so let's roll that package. And they had nothing, absolutely nothing to say. They'd burned everything to talk about, so they kept playing the same packages again. Oh, man, what a nightmare.
Yeah, in Miami, I was just down there for 4th of July.
Yeah.
I grew up there. I have nostalgia with Miami. Every time I'm back there, it does feel like home for me.
Mm-hmm.
But it is closer to another country than it is the United States.
Sure. Yeah.
If you spend some time down there, you're like,
But I wanna say
this is interesting.
It's just different. Like, I want to say something interesting about the game, though. It's like, I know everybody was like, oh, this is a nightmare. This is terrible. Okay, I get it. But I will say that actually being there during the match with that many people, with that energy, would be really fun.
Yeah, it'd be fun to be there.
I mean, it's not going to be convenient to be there.
Yeah, it would be horrible to deal with
I mean,
the
the
crowd.
energy of being in that style soccer match with fans that are that passionate about it is something I want to do. I just don't, I don't want to be an hour and a half delayed or be in harm's way, but it does sound
smushed against the wall.
I'd love to be there with my family with where it's like everybody's Argentine and we're just screaming like that would be awesome, man.
I wonder how. Because people obviously went down there knowing they'd have no tickets, right?
Yeah.
So did they think I'm trying to scalp tickets? Like who came up with hey, let's just try to get in there, just storm the wall?
They do it online. You'll just you'll be in a soccer group online, Reddit. And you'll say, "Hey, we don't have tickets. We're all meeting. 70 of us are meeting by this.
Then we're just gonna run in.
We're meeting at the bar.
It wasn't like an impromptu storming. It was like a planned.
I would imagine it was. I don't know.
And then when some people started to, that's when everybody is mob mentality.
Don't take me on face value of that. I'm just telling you that. But from everything that I've seen, when people do these type of things, it's an orchestrated online digital thing.
Welcome to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan.
Let's do some Weird Job Wednesday.
It is Weird Job Wednesday time. The song on deck. Tom wanted to do a bit. He called it Weird Job Wednesday. Dan really likes it. Tom says that's bullshit. It's another Weird Job Wednesday. What are you doing? What is your job? Are you neat? Are you tidy? Or are you a fat slob? Do you make lots of money and you sit up in your tower looking down on all the people who are working by the hour? It's a Weird Job Wednesday. Just another Weird Job Wednesday. Oh yes, it's Weird Job Wednesday. Just another Weird Job Wednesday. Thank you, Tom. Thank you.
Weird Job Wednesday brought to you by modernpi.com.
It's embarrassing how long that song is when you have somebody waiting on Zoom to talk to you. Yeah,
I love it. It's very Tenacious D-esque.
Okay, well, hey, you can talk about Tenacious D right now. They've been canceled. Straight canceled.
So on the line with us on Zoom, Emerson Latzia. How you doing, Emerson?
I'm doing great, guys. How are you?
Good, man. Hey, thanks for the time, man. We really appreciate you
absolutely
zooming in.
So, Emerson, tell us about your weird job.
All right. So I'm a weird dude, and my weird job would be I work for DraftKings and DraftKings Sportsbooks.
Nice.
So I'll host sports betting shows for them, daily fantasy sports shows. I get on there. I'll fill in a lot on the Golick show, if everyone remembers Mike Golick and Mike Golick Jr. of ESPN. So we have them on DraftKings Network now. And talk a lot of odds, a lot of numbers, a lot of dudes who can make dudes and dudettes money who are using DraftKings products. Do a lot of infomercials, commercials on ESPN, all that weird stuff.
All right, so let's
working for. I mean, this is something. Does he have the job you want?
Yes, I because Emerson, I'll tell you that my hobby is sports betting.
It is.
Really just NFL. Oh. I only have the time to research NFL. And we'll get into it because I'm fascinated with people like you that do this for a living and how much content you have to consume to even be knowledgeable enough to talk about it in public.
Yeah,
and that's crazy to me. So
combined with the amount of money swirling around it, is insane.
Yeah, dude. Oh God. Then people think just because I'm maybe pushing like an athlete I like or a team I like or a bet I like that they're just, oh man, you're just pushing this because you work for DraftKings and you want us to bet that and it's going to lose. And I say, well, don't listen to me then. Listen to like the smarter analysts on our network.
Right. Yeah, that's why we have multiple shows.
Oh, we'll get into the conspiracy theories of the internet and like anybody who works for different sports books or sponsored by them. Like people are like, oh, they're putting out losing bets on purpose so that the company makes money. Is like that's not how gambling works. Like
this is the first time we've talked to somebody officially, right?
Yeah.
Really?
They works for a sports book like DraftKings. But let's go back to the beginning, Emerson, because I'm curious. You graduated from UCF, and now you're up in Boston. But so were you originally?
We got to do a GPA fight. What was your GPA?
I think my GPA was like 3.2.
Okay, all right. I'm like slightly.
I mean, it's a very generous 3.2.
3.4. Little higher. 3.4. What'd you get? You probably don't even know.
I have no idea.
We're all UCF guys, though, right?
Yeah.
It's another first.
I have no idea. I knew my GPA knowledge or knowing it was going to be irrelevant. I never even used anything I learned from UCF. I have no offense to UCF, but I have never.
They're not listening. They're not listening right now.
It was a long time. I mean, almost 20 years ago, I graduated.
What did you go to school for?
Yeah, Sam. I was broadcast journalism, and here my minor, coaching. All right.
Oh, really?
There. Little X's and O's on the whiteboard, baby. George O'Leary, because you could when you minored in coaching, I think you could focus on either football, basketball. And I want to say the third one may have been volleyball. So obviously I did football. And George O'Leary was my coach for like half of my classes. And a majority of the coaching football classes were just the football team. So it's like me hanging out with all the dudes, Matt Prater in there. And and O'Leary, they were so strict on attendance. And one year I skipped my Friday morning coaching class to go down to West Palm to see a Dave Matthews concert. And I came back and I had immediately been dropped from an A to like a B. And so they were not messing around there because they're like, listen, it's coaching football. Just be here, listen to us ramble about X's and O's, and then go home. And I was like, nah, dude, I got to go get hammered at a concert.
Yeah.
I like George O'Leary's great. The best ability is availability.
Yeah, exactly. And meanwhile, you're down there listening to ants marching, having dropping acid or something.
I didn't know that coaching was even an option when I went to UCF.
Well, now you do. You might go back to school. Maybe you got inspired.
I took some stinky music history or some crap elective. Oh, God.
Yes, I took the music class. I was accused of cheating on the final in that music elective, but they still had, at the time I was there, you could do grade forgiveness. You had like 2 grade forgivenesses.
Yeah.
So I was able to replace that F with an A. I retook it in like a summer semester. Boom, brought me up to the smart 3.2.
Yeah, the chat room is reminding me, do we all remember when George O'Leary got hired at Georgia Tech, but it was immediately let go because they went to verify his work history and found out he lied all over the place?
No, that was Notre Dame. That was Notre Dame.
Notre Dame?
Yeah, it was Notre Dame. So he was hired and he was fired within a day. But he's the only undefeated head coach in Notre Dame history. People also forget that.
What did he lie about? What did he lie about?
I don't know.
Didn't he know that?
I have no idea specifically what he lied about, like off the top of my head. I'm sure it's like a quick Google search here, but I'm pretty sure it was just his work history. It's like there's not this thing called the internet where people can actually fact check what I put on.
And he's always, no offense to the man, because he was a teacher of yours, and we are all alumni. But he was an older man. He looks like a man that wouldn't understand the internet. He does have that look.
They'll never be able to find anything out.
He's like, I tied a bow on it. It's all locked up.
Yeah, he passed away, right? I'm pretty sure he's no longer with us. I don't know. I don't know. Anywho,
we could Google
he's one of those
it, but
guys who would definitely struggle with today's age where half the games are streamed on streaming networks. Like, how do I find Peacock or what the hell is Paramount Plus?
God forbid he wants to watch StatCast. He's never going to be able to find the hidden channels. That'll never happen. I was watching it last night, and I saw you watching. Weren't you watching the Home Run Derby?
Yeah, I was watching the Home Run Derby.
Yeah. How did we get past that anthem?
And I won. I won $150 on it. I had $10. I was like, all right, I'm going to go eeny, meeny, miny, mo. And ended up hitting the winner there.
Yeah.
First Dodger in history to win the Home Run Derby.
There you go. I'm a Braves fan. Ozuna, not that great, but
no,
not that great. But I'm a big fan. I like the Bear. I'm glad he turned his life around.
Did you hear the national anthem? Daniel was telling me about it.
Oh my God, dude! What was that?
Yeah, I watched it live.
What was that?
You watched it live, and I was going to talk about this later, but we might as well do it now. Like, it was one of the only times where I've watched something bad happen live, and then I got to open my phone and see Twitter and see X or see Instagram and just see in real time. I watched it trend. I got to watch it trend real time, and it's kind of weird, man. It was like the Wall Street Journal had it. They were like, "Bam! Look at how bad this is." I'm like, Wall Street Journal, holy smokes!
Worst thing that's happened to our country in the last week by far was that.
There it is.
Was that national anthem performance? My wife and I are sitting there. We're guzzling glizzies on the couch behind me. And we both stop eating, like mid-dog. And I'm like, wait a minute. What is this? Like, this has to be a parody. She has to be screwing with us right now.
Yeah.
And then you find out she's 4-time Grammy nominated?
Yeah.
Dude, the three of us should be nominated for Grammys if that's the case.
Well,
towards the end, I'm like, dude, this can't be real. Like, she has to be messing with us. Nobody is this bad.
Yeah, it seemed like
Do you think it could have been some sort of stunt?
Okay,
or was it legitimately?
People are throwing that out there. She has a new single she released yesterday. And so
and a tour coming up.
Yeah.
Yep.
She was doing that in conjunction with it was supposed to be the big rollout, but it looked to me like she was like maybe having a couple light beers and it was feeling good and was relaxing and said, you know what? I'm going to live a little tonight and I'm just going to go out there and who cares?
Hold on. Well, think about it though, Emerson, like you're in this business and like if you're sitting there and you like, if you sang it perfectly, it would be a nothing. You get no publicity.
Correct.
Nobody, I mean, who who is looking up the person singing national anthem? And then if you're like, if I could do it horrible, it'll world trend.
Oh, I was already ready when they said her name.
And then people they'll listen to my music to see if I'm really this bad, and then maybe they'll like it. Or, it would be an insane marketing move to do, but technically, it's pretty brilliant.
I don't disagree with you. I had no effing clue who the hell she was until that train wreck of a 3-minute singing of the national anthem. I went on, I was like, Spotify? Okay, wow. No, she's like legit. I said, well, what the hell was she like nominated for? You look at the song, I said, I don't know any of these songs, but I know who she is now, and I won't forget because she, in my opinion, eclipsed Fergie for having the worst national anthem performance I have ever seen. And I had a bunch of friends who were at that game at Globe Life last night, and I said, guys, tell me, was it as bad in person as it was sitting on my couch eating hot dogs at home? And they said, dude, it was abysmal. People were laughing, looking at each other, saying, is this real life? And turns out it was real life. Very sad for 3 minutes last night.
And I felt bad for her, because she's getting eaten alive now. But I mean, I guess if you can weather the storm, this is the type of eyes you want.
Yeah. We live in a world where it like almost goes back to the old saying, like any, even bad publicity is
any publicity is good publicity.
I forgot the saying.
It goes back to I think it goes back to the old saying, you can't pull the wool over my legs. My grandmother used to mess that up all the time.
Or what's the one from like Tommy Boy where he's like, you could crap on a bull, but it's like it's still a steak or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Like he kept screwing it up like the entire time.
So Emerson, let's go back. How do you go from UCF to working with DraftKings?
Yeah, so after I took the 5-year route at UCF, I got my first job in upstate New York, small town, Elmira, New York.
Oh wow!
And yeah, very very small. Known more for its prisons than it is for anything else. They have some really huge, nice prisons there. I haven't been inside one, thank God. But I was just like a weekend sports anchor there. Then took that's where I met my now wife, Megan, who was a St. Bonaventure grad. So she was a producer up there. We were able to link up and kind of take our talents out to Salt Lake City, where I was doing sports again out in the pretty big market. Then headed down to West Palm Beach.
Nice.
For 3 years. Came up here to Boston because my wife had an incredible producing opportunity. She's a 5-time Emmy award-winning producer. And so I said, let's take a chance. We've always taken a chance on my jobs. Let's take a chance for you. She's won 5 Emmys in our 9-10 years of being here. But yeah, I came up here and I started working for the New England Sports Network. And that is the home, for anyone familiar with the New England area, that is the home of the Boston Red Sox and the Boston Bruins. And so I hosted a bunch of shows for them, started doing some sports content for them, and then ended up kind of getting my foot in the door at DraftKings. And then I had an opportunity a few years ago to decide which route do I want to go. And the way sports betting is blowing up, it's almost keeping like live television and sports like relevant at a different like level, if that makes any sense, because there could be a game you give absolutely zero craps about, but let's say you put $5 on maybe a receiver to hit over 40 receiving yards just because maybe you're a little bit more of a degenerate.
Yep.
Like you're sitting there and you're maybe watching like a D2, D3 football game, like something on ESPN Plus. And yeah, it's been incredible, the growth of sports betting, especially over the past handful of years, as you start to see more states legalize it.
It's the best thing that's happened to sports in the United States.
And we don't have it because of Amendment 3, right?
The what?
Like, we don't have it here. We don't have DraftKings or FanDuel, any of that because of...
No. It's, dude, you guys, because when I go down and visit my parents in Ponte Vedra, just outside Jacksonville, it's like the only thing I can place bets on is Hard Rock.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Isn't that the only legal book I think that is in Florida? And I think it was just shot down, like DraftKings and other big books were trying to stop that with essentially just like this monopoly, one book running it.
Yeah.
But they shot it down. So as of right now, it's going to be Hard Rock for the next 20 years there only.
No, I think that things will change because
he's a gambling optimist because he's a degenerate.
Yeah.
I've got
There's too much money involved, dude.
I've got 10 different books, like PPH books and offshores, and then of course Hard Rock.
I don't know what any of that means. He does. That's his world.
But
that's okay.
they'll and it's I think as gambling becomes more and more popular and people start to like, I think Florida will start to demand more options, because the more options you have, the better for the player. And so I and then I'm sure like Hard Rock will. I've even seen some stories about them doing some like percentage shares with DraftKings or FanDuel
in order to get it into the area, just to make it worthwhile for the
and then and if they start doing that, it's like once they're in, you get your foot in the door, and then I imagine that it'll eventually be there. But so going back to, I'm curious. I've always wanted to ask someone that does your job about how much and you read and consume to be able to be. Yep. Like what's your schedule like? Because I imagine, because it is your job, like you're probably, even though you're a sports fan, you have to do way more research than you normally would, right? Yeah,
it's true. And like in a lot of the shows that I host, like on DraftKings, like I'm more of a host role, but I do take on like an analyst role a lot. And it's like, you don't just go up there and spit a bunch of crap. So it's like, if I know I've got a part in like a few segments where I've got some time to kind of share my opinion on, like I'm a big golf bettor. So I'll talk a lot like in our golf segments about guys I like, whichever tournament we're talking about that week. But you're putting in a lot of research, putting in a lot of hours of research, because you're sitting there and you're looking at numbers and you're trying to get a leg up. And so it's not just going on and picking a guy you like, or going with like, taking a trip down Narrative Street, how everybody, every major, every year just wants to bet the hell out of Tiger, when really the only smart thing to do is to bet Tiger to miss the cut, unless we're talking like Augusta. Although I do think he makes the cut this week. But and then a lot of it too is linking up with our other analysts, like at DraftKings that we have. We got some really good ones on staff here. Like Julian Edlow is a huge basketball guy and a football guy. Steve Buchanan, they're really great follows on Twitter, by the way. If anyone watching right now wants to try to get a leg up, listen to those guys. Steve Buchanan's a big baseball guy. So I link up with them a lot. And it's also some of our huge analysts that I know that work with us. Also, we're like, you keep in contact with people like in the business, and you're talking to people out in Vegas who may have a leg up, and like people think, oh, Vegas is like in on everything. They're not really in on everything. It's not like the fix, but they have connections and they get information before anybody else does. They know people with teams behind the scenes. They may know like a trainer or someone else who maybe has an idea that someone may not play, which is why a line tends to shift. But it's also following, and I tell this to people all the time, follow as many people as you can on Twitter who are trusted in the sports betting space, because they also will get information earlier than others. And that way, if you get it quick enough, you can react before the lines and odds shift. Because if you can get in there before a number gets smaller, good for you. And then but it's also looking at your phone. So if you're not one of those people who's like glued to your phone all the time, my wife's always bitching me to get off my phone. I said,
no,
hey,
that's him.
I know, I know, dude, it's bad. And she's like, what are you doing? I said, well, Trevor Lawrence may not play today. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to make us a little bit of money here and take advantage of getting this news very early before anybody else gets it.
But we're picking tile for the kitchen.
Yeah,
you insufferable moron.
We're going to Zara. We got to go to Anthropology and buy 7 new candles of the same scent that is burning behind me right now that I've been smelling.
They are
for
nice
11
candles,
years
though.
of marriage.
They
I'm
are
ready
nice
to get
candles.
over like the volcano scent.
Yeah.
Can we please go to like pine or something else?
But I do like an Anthropology girl. I do like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Hey,
Hats off.
It's not too shabby, big man. It's
well
not too
done.
shabby.
Well done.
And I don't know if your wife asked you this as well, but I'll be gambling on my phone, and then Crystal's like, "What are you doing on your phone?" I'm like, "I'm placing some bets," and she's like, "How much are you betting?" I'm like, $20. And then she's like,
you need to be careful with that, dude. You got to be careful with that. Last night, she was kind enough. We were able to push the Bachelorette off to tonight. And so we were watching the home run derby last night. And she's just like, wait, so all they do is hit home runs? And I said, yeah, that's the home run derby, babe. She's like, why are you like so into this? And I'm like, oh, I don't know. Maybe I have $10 on Teoscar Hernandez to like win this damn thing. And then I pass out on the couch because I'm hungover eating hot dogs. And then I wake up and I see one. I said, boom. That's how you win $150 right there, babe. We'll go to dinner.
That's called
we'll go to dinner this
business.
week.
That's
I'm
called
taking
work.
you out.
Yeah.
But my wife's like, you're
Put your big hat on. We're going to anthropology for more candles.
She's like, you're ignoring me for $20. I'm like, I'm like, you don't understand. You have to bet small, or you're gonna lose your bankroll anyway. So Emerson, so how much? Okay, I have another question for you because I'm curious.
Get them all out because you've only got him for a short amount of time.
I know so I consume a lot of sports content and podcasts and stuff. So and while I'm listening, and then the bigger shows, the more popular shows, they get almost like more and more ridiculous with their takes, and it seems to me sometimes like the more popular you are, you tend to lean towards like more outrageous
creating
takes.
the controversy.
Creating because that creates more ratings and more people engaging with you.
It's artificial, then,
and then
it goes back to your point about the national anthem last night. Like any publicity is good publicity, or whatever the saying is. We've all gotten it wrong now, but it's true because it's almost like ratings for an actual show. I know some people like to think, the hot take machine equals like ratings. Like there's a little bit of yes and no to that because less people are watching TV and more people are actually getting those hot takes and information off of Twitter and social media. And so you're thinking, I dish out this hot take. That's 2 minutes that is going to absolutely go viral. People are going to hate me for it, but I don't care because it's going to be driving up the engagement and people telling me I'm an idiot and how much they hate me and how much what I'm saying makes no sense. Okay. So there are some guys who go out there with the mindset and people who are totally fine with people hating them and saying, all right, whatever I say is just going to be what I say. And they're going to end up tuning in and watching because they hate me. It's just like what people are going to watch the Colorado Buffs football games. People aren't necessarily, I would say majority of America will tune into those. The Big 12 this year with UCF, and they're going to be tuning in to watch them lose, but they're still going to be a ratings machine.
Yeah, and that's so sometimes when I'm listening or even I catch some ESPN talking head or whatever, I'm thinking, do these people even believe what they're saying, or are they just saying it?
What do you want as a viewer? Would you rather?
It's
authentic?
like George Costanza used to say, guys. Yeah. It's not a lie if you believe it.
Yeah. Because, or they just talk. Well, because the funny thing about sports and the reality is you can have a take on any side of anything. Really, you could start making an argument for one team to win or lose, and you could be as passionate with both arguments, and this completely opposite. You know what I'm saying? You could tell me why the Patriots are going to win more games than the sports books think, or you could say how they're going to win less.
Right,
you know what I'm saying? You're a Boston guy.
By the way, Patriots and Panthers, the only two teams that are not favored in a single game. They are underdogs in all 17 games on DraftKings Sportsbook right now.
Really?
So what's your take on? You think Belichick's going to coach next year?
That one's tough because right now I think he's living the dream. He's dating a 24-year-old young lady.
Yeah.
And
you might see him in anthropology. You're going to see him there.
Listen, right now, I think he's having a blast. I think he's enjoying, and I forget which show they just announced he was going to be on. There's either a pre or a post game. He's doing media, I think we got to see a little bit of it when he was on some of the pre and post game coverage on ESPN for the Army Navy game, and a few other and this is what I've always been told from people who are very connected to him and people who are very connected in the Patriots organization. When the guy is out of Gillette, and when the guy is not necessarily talking football, he is as cool as can be. He is a funny dude. He's personable. He's nice, and he likes to go out and just be a dude. But he's so wired for football and has been since day one, which is why I do believe he does end up coaching again if given the opportunity next year. Because also people I know who are close to him tell me every single time I bring this question up, will he coach next year? Yes. Why is that? Because there is no one who the all-time coaching wins record means more to than Bill Belichick. That's what he wants. He will coach until he gets it, which is why I do believe he coaches again.
And how old is he now? Where's he at?
He's like 72 or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's getting up there, but
that's all right. But a young woman to keep you younger.
He's still kicking. It's a lot like, my dad who's post 70 now and just wants to keep going out and like doing things because at a certain, like my father-in-law says all the time, man, I'll stop working like when I'm dead. I'm like, bro, just stop working. Like go drink beers and rip darts on a golf course or something. Like, come on, man. But some of these guys think if they stop, that's it.
Yeah, I mean, it happened for my dad. He was a different guy. The minute he stopped working, that was the decline.
Yeah. Plus, Bill Belichick and any NFL coach, they are addicted to football and addicted to coaching. Yeah.
What else does he know more of? He doesn't.
It's like saying that Tom Brady is going to get fat. Now they just have to work. It's like no. This guy is addicted to working out and eating healthy.
It's all he knows.
Yeah. He's never going to be like, oh yeah, now I don't have.
But
to work.
Love it. I would love it if he got fat. If he got like the whale.
Tom Brady has never been sexier. He's never been sexier than he is right now.
Do you think he's on the tee?
There's a picture that was tweeted out the other day about him like working out. Quads are all shredded.
Isn't he on the tee?
Pliable as hell.
He's on the tee now,
for sure.
right?
He's on the tee. Once he got out, once he could take it, he's on it.
He'll be his shredded top.
Well, you need it when you're making $300 million for to sit in the booth and call one game a week.
So, Emerson, back to like talking about Boston sports because you've lived in Orlando. Like we have our soccer team, UCF, but in Boston it's a completely different story in the how
old world heritage city.
I mean, people are passionate about their sports teams to the point where they'll get angry. Yeah. They'll fight you over sports, which I don't think really exists that much here in Orlando.
No,
but
we don't really have that.
So have you managed to like piss people off, or you have a take and you're like, well, I'm not going to say that, because, or does it go back to like
or even just starting that? Do you have to mind your P's and Q's, or do you get leeway?
Yes. Yeah, when I was first new to this market, because listen, these are passionate sports fans. They're not only passionate, they're extremely intelligent here. They know what they're talking about with their sports teams. All 4 major sports teams here in the market. So it's like I'm coming up, a kid, I was like 30 or whatever, like 10 years ago. So I'm coming up from Florida, and I'm being plastered all over like the main regional sports network here, and they're like, who's this Florida kid coming up talking about our teams that I have been following since for 60 years here? So it's like, you kind of like ease into it. You got to win people over here, and then you realize, man, some of these people really are just miserable because of like if they don't win a title in that year. Like, dude, when I was out at the Celtics parade a couple weeks ago, I've never seen people party like that because it had been on this. We've been on this like drought of almost like 5, 6, 7 years here of the last professional sports title. Just talking the 4 major sports teams, people were letting it out. People had no clothes on. People were taking shots at like 9 a.m. on the parade route when the parade's not even starting until 11:30. Nobody loves sports more, I think, in this country than Boston, which is why I was so lucky to get an opportunity to come up here and talk about their sports teams and get in with DraftKings and talk sports betting, because our studio is 2 blocks here from like my apartment, and the parade route goes right by it every time, right up Boylston Street. It is sick, dude. But like I'm telling you, the people here, the fans here, they may get a bad rap like outside the market, but you come in here and they after a little while, they will embrace you as one of their own. These are some kick-ass sports fans here, and you could go anywhere at any time, any day, and just talk sports. And it's really nice sometimes, especially with all the other crap going on in the world.
Oh, for sure. There was also a thread on Reddit. He's not lying about that parade. I mean, there was nudity crazy. It was like it looked like Mardi. It looked like Mardi Gras. There were women flashing for beads, and I was like, "What is this?" And I'm reading more, and I'm like, "No, this is Boston. This is just, they're celebrating that the Celtics are really good.
Yeah, they're pulling their teams out.
And our Magic are really good too. That's going to be fun as our team gets better. I mean, we're putting together a team.
Yeah, I came back from that from that parade, and my wife's like, "How was it?" I'm like, "I saw boobs."
Yeah, there were boobs.
I saw a lot of boobs, babe. I said, "I'm good. I don't need to see yours tonight," because I just saw like 20 sets of them.
Do you feel the pressure, speaking of like Boston sports and stuff, did you have to really deep dive all the history so you knew? Because that's another thing too.
Right.
Like you get facts wrong, people go crazy. You mispronounce a name.
They consider it disrespectful.
Mispronouncing a name is the biggest thing. Not even only like a sports team or a player. I'm talking cities. Here, I don't know if you guys know much about New England or anybody in the chat knows the Boston area, New England area. All of these damn cities are pronounced the complete opposite of how they are spelled. It is extremely difficult to nail down pronunciations of these cities at first. But now it's like walking around, a tourist comes up, "Hey, how do I get to Woodchester?" I said, "You mean Worcester, you idiot?" Yeah. By the way, it's 50 minutes up the road. Go ahead.
Yeah, but
that's really cool.
And I'm sure I don't know if this happens to you, but like anytime I'll talk about sports and I'll get something wrong, I won't realize it until later. Like the drive home, I'll be like, "Man, I got that. I said that wrong," and it'll bother me the rest of the it'll bother me for 24 hours that I said, and no one will even like.
Well, it should only bother you if you're like a professional sportscaster or something.
No, but the fact that I got it wrong just makes me mad because there is right and wrong with certain things in sports, and are you easily able to like disregard it and forget about it, or does it drive you crazy?
I would say like I've grown a lot, especially over the last like handful of years, where the majority of my work has been with DraftKings because, dude, sometimes you just misspeak, especially when there's so many like numbers and odds and they're just changing all the time. And sometimes, like you may say like the wrong number, but hopefully the right number is on the screen and people are watching can see that. But I'm a lot less like hard on myself than I used to be. I wanted to go out there and be Mr. Perfect for like the longest time. And then I started just realizing, man, crap happens, mistakes happen. And, if I catch myself making a mistake, easily can come back and correct it after the break. But I don't know, like it's not open heart surgery. I'm blessed. I'm lucky. I live a great life. I have an incredible job. I work for an incredible company, and it's just I've learned to like laugh at myself a lot because I'm not the brightest bulb, or the sharpest tool in the shed, as they say. But I just try to have as much fun as possible. Like I'm a weird dude, and I no longer try to hide that. And what's great is like the company I work for allows me to be my weird ass self on a lot of shows and a lot of the content that I go out and do, because I do a lot of stuff with like fans, and that'll be the story a lot this upcoming football season. We got some big announcements coming up with some of the content that we're going to be launching. And I think some of it will involve me going to different cities. Hopefully Orlando will be on there.
Yeah, man, you have to come see us.
Just get weird as hell with fans.
Yeah, you have to come see us. Come in the studio and hang out a little bit.
Dude, I would absolutely love that. My buddy John was the one who brought like you guys to my attention like months ago, and then like you guys texted me last week. I said, finally, I'm like The Rock. Fine.
I appreciate you talking to us.
Appreciate it, man.
Your buddy was a BDM, and he's like, "Hey, you talked to him."
Our
my buddy Emerson.
Best.
He
we
worked
got the best guy.
Dude,
worked for
sick.
DraftKings.
Yeah, all I needed to know was like, John brought you guys up, and I said, done. Trust you, cool. John. Went on, saw what you guys do. I said, let's go. It is a weird connection in heaven. So, this is meant to be.
So Emerson, back real quick, like I guess my last question, and I want to talk about the kind of the business and like the fact that like DraftKings is doing their own media, or is like has their own media
putting
company.
Together their entire department. Because I mean, it's like having
because we both worked in terrestrial radio, so we're familiar with like we worked for iHeart when it was Clear Channel, and we know that radio game and like and that whole thing, and how your story is familiar with bouncing around to smaller markets and then working your way up. But it seems like all that old media is struggling, and then like and like a company like DraftKings are like, hey, we're just going to produce our own content.
Exactly.
And we'll do it better because we're not bound by the rules of old media. Where we have to run 15-minute commercial breaks through, the hour and all this stuff that hasn't changed in a long time.
I was actually watching you guys this morning. It seems very free. Is it like, or that?
Yeah, dude.
You get a lot of leeway.
That's what it is. Yeah, that's is really like the reason I think DraftKings decided to do it. They're like, instead of like and like all the commercial spots that I would shoot for like ESPN, which now ESPN has its own book. So, I think that partnership maybe, I think there's still something there, but I think for the majority of it, it's fizzled out. But it's like, all right, well, why don't we just do this ourselves? So decided to launch a network a little more than a year ago. And the feedback has been great. The numbers are growing. And plus, we also own VSiN, which is the Vegas Sports Information Network out in Vegas. So it's like you can catch a lot of our content, a lot of the shows that I host over there. It's so funny. A lot of our shows start at 8 o'clock Eastern time, and they'll be live at like 5 a.m. out there in Vegas. And some of the people who work out of the studio out in Vegas will be like, all right, we're live. And you see our show on, in the sports book there at a casino, and they're just dudes all passed out in the chairs at 5 a.m., 5:15 locals. And I'm like, glad we can help. I'm glad we can help.
Yeah. It's and then how is the, like, how many shows are you doing? Let's talk about like the individual shows just so people can find them.
That's a lot.
And then, and how does it work as far as like, is it anywhere similar to what you're used to doing, like old school media, where it's like there's a program director and then you got a sales team that handles the commercials? Or do you guys even bother with actually in-show commercials because it's all just about pulling people back to DraftKings?
Yeah, no. Like, trust me, they're going out because you want people to advertise like on your network, especially being a new network. Like, the money's not going to necessarily like roll in right away because a lot of your potential advertisers and partners are like, all right, well, show me the numbers and why you want to charge me what you want to charge me. But so I'll do a lot of the Gojo and Golic. That is a show that we have from 8 to 10 a.m. Eastern time on DraftKings Network. So I mentioned them before, that Mike Golic Jr., father-son duo. They were electric on ESPN, and now they're electric on our network. And they bring in some of the biggest guests because they're so well connected and so well respected in the industry and such great human beings in general. It's an incredible show that if you tune in, I mean, usually they'll run through the rundown at the top. So like you can get an idea of like who's coming on, but they bring in massive athletes and celebrities like nonstop. The amount of emails we get from representatives of these celebrities and athletes are like, yo, we want to get our guy like on your show. And then there'll be some new shows that I will be very heavily involved in coming up here on DraftKings Network. We're going to be having a lot of sports specific shows. So we're going to have a lot of just, obviously with football season right around the corner, we should be, and I highly recommend to everybody, and obviously I'm a little biased that I work for them. My paycheck comes from DraftKings, but that's going to be some great entertaining football content that is going to be a lot different than anything you see on ESPN and Fox and that kind of stuff. So I would say give us a shot. You'll get some good advice and information about, or if you're a new bettor to the game, there's no better shows than a lot of what we do because we know the hardcore expert bettor, guys who've been doing this forever, aren't necessarily going to be, tuning in because they know what they're doing. A lot of what we try to do is we'll talk sports betting, but we make it like super easy. It's super casual. Like you guys have already noticed, like with the content.
Sure.
It's almost like podcast style. We're like guys being dudes, but we're also talking a little bit of sports betting there and we make it fun. It's entertaining. So I think it's totally like worth a watch if you guys are looking for something new ahead of football season.
The chat room is currently betting on how many times your Springer Spaniel puppy will get off and on the couch. They seriously, they're betting on the puppy going on and off the couch right now. What's the over-under on that?
I've got two of them because they're antsy right now because it's lunchtime.
Yeah, they're hungry.
And they're both staring at me right now. So there goes my mic. One is laying down here on the floor, and the other is in her crate. Right back there. Yeah. So I've got two. My hands are full, but they keep me moving, and there's less napping involved. because I have to walk them so many times a day. Oh, man, here comes one right now. How you doing? You're going to hop back on the couch? No, she's going to go to the toy bin. I don't blame her.
Well, I because I listen to so much of this stuff, it's funny because speaking of like professional sports bettors, like you'll find a podcast from some professional sports bettor, and you're listening to him, and he's like, he's on the spectrum, he knows the numbers, but the content is so dry that it's hard to listen to, and then you start realizing you're like, man, like when you get a broadcaster on there, he may not be as good of a bettor, but he's presenting the information in a better and
entertaining
more
way.
Entertaining way. So it's like I gravitate towards those, even though I know the autistic guy that's telling me the numbers is gonna get me more wins, but I just can't take it anymore because
it's not good. It's not good.
It's like when I tell my wife, I'm on it, babe. I mean the spectrum. I try to make it like that. That's where kind of the shows and the analysts like Julian and Steve and like others at our network, when they kind of put us all together, like I'm kind of the weird, energetic host, and I'll definitely inject my sports betting knowledge like where I can. But then we bring in the guys who have the knowledge of the numbers. Yeah. But we have found guys who have knowledge of the numbers who are less on the spectrum and more entertaining, and they have their own entertaining ways of delivering the information. So it's not such a snooze because, again, and you guys know this too.
Yeah.
You need to be entertaining when you are on the screen. You need to be able to be engaging a little bit, like obviously with your panel, but also with fans, especially in y'all's situation, with the chat as well.
Yeah. Well, Emerson, I know we got to go. Thanks so much for taking the time to talk to us.
You guys are kick ass, man. I appreciate it.
Now, the last question we usually do ask everybody in a weird job, which is, it's kind of uncomfortable, is how much money you make. You don't have to give us a number, but
not enough. Because it goes back to the open that you guys rolled. And I don't know if you could see me off camera. There was one where the guy was standing like in his office space. It's like, because you make a lot of money and you're looking down on all the pores. And I'm like, nah, that's not.
We don't do that either.
I'm the kid with the bowl, like, more gruel, sir.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's like, I think that a lot of people are doing that now. It's like you get to work in entertainment, but you're not getting rich.
Yeah,
so that's okay.
Yes, so
that's okay.
Because you guys mentioned like the traditional media before. Do you remember before it was like you would get to a market like Boston? Hell, you get to a big ass market like Orlando, and it's like you made it.
Yeah.
You're getting that fat paycheck. Media has changed so much. So now it's like we worked our asses off to kind of get to this market, and you're like, oh, man, I remember hearing the stories of like you'd be getting paid $300,000 a year, $400,000 a year, like especially in the local news here. Like a lot of the stations around here, and I'm sure Orlando as well, because just the way the business is going, the fat salaries are being cut.
Yeah, they're drying
up.
Like
the young kids, their young kids are coming up. They're excited. They have the opportunity, but it's like they get that check every 2 weeks. Like, oh, this isn't why I studied broadcast journalism at UCF. Like, what is this?
Yeah. I think those giant salaries are those days are done too.
I mean, you've got some legacy fat cats that still have contracts, but those are drying up. They're going to retire, and then that's not going to reset.
No. That you're exactly right. They're gone.
Yeah.
And then the company's like, sweet, we're just going to hang on to these fat milli checks. Like,
wait, you're the hot girl.
Like the Stephen A. Smiths, like. They're even rare now at ESPN. The amount of good friends I have who work there are just like, fortunately, my salary is not like what it used to be.
Exactly.
T's and P's, brother. T's and P's.
Well, Emerson, it was great talking to you. We appreciate it. And anytime you're in Orlando, we'd love for you to swing by and hang out.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. I'm totally in. It sounds like I'm going to be down there for homecoming this year. So I'll try to pop in like a day early, drive up from or drive down from Ponte Vedra where my parents live. And,
right on.
We'll hang out, man.
Cool. Well, let us know, man. Hey, thanks again for the time. We appreciate it.
All right, you guys rock. Thank you.
Take care, man. That was very fun. Very, very cool.
Yeah. You could tell he's a broadcaster just because certain like he'd be great for radio, even though it's not we just said.
Ship has sailed.
But he's got the cadence of
he keeps it moving. He keeps it moving. Yeah. And it is interesting because I think a lot of people think that guys like that do work for the latest and greatest and hottest thing, because he is.
Yeah.
Like if you're in sports, it's not even my thing, but I recognize that what he's doing is in broadcasting or in sports to be working with a book. I think delivering knowledge is latest and greatest. Not rich. It's not out there, guys. It's not a thing anymore. I don't think it's a thing.
But
it can be.
If you look at his social, he looks like he's enjoying his life. He's living
he doesn't want for anything. It's fine. But I'm just saying, like,
it's not. It's I think those days of like he said, the $300,000 salary from a media company.
It may come again, but in a different way, a different form, a different
Although McAfee makes a lot, but that's a whole different.
What? He might be the end of the end. Like once you've buttoned up those deals and signed it.
Well, once you get an audience, then that's it.
You cash in and you're out.
All right. We will see you tomorrow. Welcome to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan.
Spencer and Jeff are here from the Orlando Science Center.
Yeah, it's working.
I haven't seen that one yet.
Yeah, it's working now. Like for a while, my megaphone was broken, and I wasn't able to give you guys a proper blast, and now I'm able to give you proper blasts.
I appreciate that.
Thank you. We feel blasted properly.
Yeah, you got blasted. So there we go.
Now, before we talk about Astrofest going on this weekend, I want to say I'll report. I heard a report back from my sons and my wife who went to the Science Center and saw the science of Guinness World Records and Life exhibit, and it blew their minds. They loved it. In fact, Max claimed to me he almost broke a world record.
That sounds like you. I mean, that sounds
like, are you sure about
that? What does that sound like, guys? I think
he's like, I almost broke a world record. I'm like, I don't know. I mean,
you sure about that? Oh my God. Are you and Max going to fight the most? Probably so, right? Because you and Tommy are too aligned.
But they loved it, and if you haven't checked it out, you have to go see it. And if you haven't checked out Life yet, I remember after we went to the science of the Guinness Book of World Records with Seth, we went and Jeff took us down and checked out Life on the bottom floor, and it blew Seth's mind.
I think it looks even better now because when we went, it was pretty early and everything was kind of settling. Mm-hmm. Now it's been going for a while, and there were like twice as many birds. The animals were way more like acclimated now. They're moving around a lot more.
Yeah.
The monkeys, I'll never get bored of just walking in and just seeing a monkey just run around in the ceiling.
That's open.
Just running around.
Yeah. It is amazing, and people really they have a hard time comprehending that life is actually like its own biome. It is living and growing. So every time you come, it's going to be a little bit different. And you nailed it. The foliage is growing. We're getting more fish. We're getting more birds. The critters like the sloth and the monkeys are getting a lot more comfortable being in there, so they're out a lot more.
I know this sounds like crazy, but like he always laughs that I notice weird things, but all the birds were hanging out over near that waterfall.
Yeah.
And they weren't doing that the first time we were there, but this time, and there were all different colored birds, and then you were kind of telling me that the birds and the way that you guys do that is they're kind of, are they naturally swapped out, or like when things get too large or mature, like how does that work?
Basically, the birds that we have within Life are on what we call a species survival plan. So a lot of the bird species, they're endangered. They've been rescued. These are animals that have grown up in sanctuaries and other places, and now they've come here. So what we're doing is we try to get a male and a female, and basically do our part to help repopulate that species.
That's so cool, man.
And so as they get babies, and then they get shared with other organizations, and we're all doing our part to encourage conservation and propagate these very special species.
Well, you're doing a darn fine job.
Why, thank you, sir.
That exhibit is really, really awesome.
We are psyched about it. It is the largest, most ambitious exhibit we've ever done, and the Science Center has been around almost 70 years. So it's a big achievement for us, and we've been getting a great response. We're thrilled with the response to it, and just want everyone to come, check it out, be a part of it, and just see how things grow from here.
Max and Tommy were super excited in the ocean section where they got to touch horseshoe crab, because we talked about it a little bit, but there's an area where you could actually put your hands and touch a live horseshoe crab and other, I think maybe there's probably a starfish in there. I'm not, it'd be like, animals that you could actually touch, which is super cool for kids because
Totally cool.
in what other, what other place where you get to touch a horseshoe crab?
Yeah, we talk a lot about that in life, about creating this opportunity, right? Giving people a chance to do something they may not get to do otherwise.
Right.
And we take for granted living in Florida. It's like, well, everyone's been down to the Everglades. Everybody goes to the ocean. But everybody doesn't. And for some people, this might be their first opportunity to touch a horseshoe crab or to touch a starfish or to see these kind of animals. And then you add on top of that rainforest exhibit, which has got all these plants and animals indigenous to the rainforest. How many of us get a chance to do that? And so it's been very cool.
Awesome.
So let's talk Astrofest. It's happening this weekend. So Spencer, tell us what Astrofest is.
Well, life's great and everything, but space is the real science, right? That's what we're really here for. No, I'm kidding. Life is awesome, but space is my forte.
We
I love
get Space
so
Daddy
much.
in here, so slapping us around. Like, enough of these animals.
And we have 2 months a year where I really get to celebrate. And July is one of those months. It's Space Month at the Science Center, Astronomy Month. And so basically all month long we're celebrating space, but Astrofest is our biggest celebration. We bring in all space programming that we have, and we throw it on the floor, and we just run it all day long. And so if you love space, it's your time to do it. This year, we don't have any particular theme. We're not celebrating Artemis specifically or the Martian landing specifically, which we've done in previous years. It really is about just how we're exploring space right now. We've got a brand new theater show called To Infinity and Beyond, which is really, really cool. It talks all about how we explore space, and it's got robots and optics and all cool demos in there. We're going to be running a space planetarium simulator thing all day long. Cool. We got all kinds of really cool stuff.
So is it possible, Spencer, to build a better telescope than we have now, but we would need way more, I guess, cooperation worldwide? Because I feel like if all of humanity.
That'll never happen.
Well, I know. I know
what you're asking for is the impossible.
I know it'll never happen, but if it could happen, could we build the biggest mega telescope? Because I know there's something better than the Hubble. What's the
Webb?
The Webb.
Yeah.
And then could we build something 10 or 100 times better than the Webb, potentially?
Maybe we are.
To even look further into space or get a better idea of our entire universe.
The problem with scopes is that you have to build them specifically. You can't just be bigger, right? They're going to also target certain things, and so they're going to have different field of views. They're going to have different wavelengths of light that they look at, and so the Webb's not just bigger. It's also looking at better light. It's looking at infrared light, and so it's seeing deeper into the universe, right? More redshifted stuff. And so we can definitely build more of those bigger telescopes. We can see more redshifts even if we go more into the infrared, or we look at different types of light like X-rays and gamma and stuff like that. So there's different kinds of scopes you can build, but the really exciting stuff, the stuff that I'm only just now learning about in the last couple of years, are these arrays of telescopes, right? That's how we got the picture of the black hole, where you build 4 separate telescopes across the Earth, and then you effectively have a scope the size of the planet that is observing these really distant objects. It's the only way to actually see something.
It kind of feels like when you share files and you're stealing bits and pieces.
Exactly, yeah.
From all
and
torrents.
they do that literally. I think.
Yeah, torrent files. I was reading about how do they just kind of stitch the picture together?
They do, and they do it physically is the thing. They're not even digitally sending these things. They got some guys in a briefcase in an airplane running around physically delivering the physical data to someone so they can splice it together and become one giant telescope image. So what I want to see is we use the whole solar system, right? What's stopping us at the size of the Earth? You put stuff in the Lagrange points in just around the Earth. You have an Earth orbit sized telescope. Now we're looking at whatever we want. So we probably need a couple of countries on that one, more than just the US.
Yeah, and then computer networks to be linked up. So rather than having to bring the physical data, if there was a way to just have a pipeline that's only for the data.
Internet.
That would be crazy cool, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
that was originally what the internet was made for, right? Like the military talking or email, they were using it to just push information quicker. Oh, that would be killer.
So let's talk conspiracy theory real quick.
These astronauts are never getting home. Is that what
you
you're
believe in
talking about?
astronauts?
Those astronauts are never getting home. Oh my God, I'm so scared. They're stuck up there.
Okay, before we go to the astronauts that are on the space
They don't talk
station.
about them anymore.
So but
they don't say a darn word about them.
But you kept mentioning that, and I read an article, and they were saying like,
no, we're just waiting until we figure it out.
Yeah,
it's
like,
fine.
And it's no big. Are you familiar with the story? So what are we looking at now with those astronauts on the space station?
Didn't Boeing lose the contract?
Last I read, which was 20 minutes ago when I was trying to read through some space news as you guys were talking.
Hey, that's what we do.
Yeah,
that's
right.
What we do.
It seems like they haven't lost the contract completely. No, they're still working on it, and they have people looking into. They said it was a helium leak or something, but they think they can fix it and everything. So as of now, both from NASA and Boeing, and they're all saying that like we're looking at days, maybe weeks, and they're going to use the same spaceship that is currently docked at the ISS to go back down.
It's supposed to be there for 7 days.
Yeah,
hey,
a little longer.
If
that thing doesn't work, though, that's a really weird concept, right? What do you do with like this rocket that doesn't work? Then they're actually stranded up there. That starts to get to the really exciting stuff, but I don't think it's going to happen. They're probably just going to come down.
They sent Bruce Willis up there.
Yeah, right.
Well, there's other companies like I did hear, like SpaceX and stuff has the ability.
Last thing you want to do if you're trying to get the contract is go to the other guy to rescue your failure. God, I'd rather let him die. If I were, I'm like, let him die. No, I'm kidding. I'm done. That's a joke. But I'm just saying, wouldn't that be terrible? As a businessman, you're like, we're the worst at this.
Yeah, because SpaceX gets those contracts all the time. They bring people to the ISS. I'm pretty sure they've used dragons to get up there, right? Yeah. So, that would be an interesting concept and really not look good for Boeing. So hopefully, they're probably all hands on deck right now for that one, aren't they?
So, Spencer, the other conspiracy theory I wanted to talk about is the
moon cave. We're obsessed with the moon cave.
What's the name of that movie that is coming out or just came out about like the premise is they tried to
Tuesday. It's about the bird.
No. They were filming a fake moon landing just in case the real moon landing didn't happen, because they wanted to make sure like we're America, we can't lose, and then this was
Fly Me to the Moon.
Fly Me to the Moon. So when they came out with this
couldn't
movie,
even think of that moon was in the name. Good job, Dan. Good job.
So to me, when this movie premise happened and I saw that, I was like, I bet you that something like this actually happened where they started like, we need some picture, like we may have to fake this if it doesn't happen because this is a political thing now and whatever. So then I think that they're like, and throughout time, some of those faked pictures were leaked, and that's why there's so many conspiracy theories, because some of those pictures are fake. But there are the real pictures, but the fake ones are now intermingled where people are using the fake ones to be like, the moon landing was fake, but that was just created for marketing back then too, which
that's interesting.
Makes sense why this movie came out.
So they caused their own conspiracy by trying to protect the public. And filming something that never happened,
or even create. So, Spencer, do you know anything about this?
I don't know about this one specifically, but it is an interesting concept for sure, and would lead credence to it. Yeah. That's an interesting concept, right? Because if you're in the 60s, you're planning this like $1 billion project. You've got multiple spaceships ready to go, right? You're not just Apollo, whatever they were 13 that they're going to land there. They're going to have like 7 more, right? So. You fake the first 2. We're going to get there eventually. We'll probably figure it out. I can see that line of thinking, but that seems a little certainly conspiratorial for sure. Yeah.
But I do think that maybe those pictures, like they didn't fake it, like it happened, but they had backup. But then
those got out.
And then that's what now it's causes. Because people are it's still just as hot as ever about the landing on the moon conspiracy theory. Even though, like recently, the news came out that they have, like, and I think they've done that. They've seen.
Yeah, they found the landing site.
But they found it before, right, Spencer? Like they've seen through a telescope, like you could see the rover. You could see I heard Neil deGrasse Tyson talk about it one time where you could see reflectors that they put up like laser reflectors.
I don't get my science from him. I'm Terrence Howard all day long.
And there's like actual proof. Like here's the reflectors. Yeah. We shoot a laser at it. It bounces back like that.
Yeah, there's all kinds of things, and we also have moon rocks on Earth that have came back from those missions, and so like you'd also have to have scientists from all over the different countries who have moon rocks saying like that they'd also be in on the conspiracy, right? So there's just so many people involved with it for sure. And there are the corner reflectors, what you're talking about, like a corner mirror. They're kind of cool. If you ever play with a corner mirror, it like always shows like a perfect reflection no matter where you're looking.
Okay.
So you put one of those on the mirror, no matter which angle you're at, you show the laser at it, it's going to bounce right back to you. And so, yeah, you could get like a $1,000 laser and try it yourself if you want to prove it. But, you know.
And then it's like, then they were like, we found a cave up there near.
Yeah.
And they're like, what's in the cave?
And then there was like, the cave will be a perfect place for people to have a moon base.
Yeah.
Like, I saw an article that said, like, oh, this cave's perfect for a moon base. I'm like, how do you know that? Have you been in it? There could be a monster in there.
Yeah, I think the Decepticons.
How do you even know what's in it? You're just assuming because it's a cave. Oh, that's a great place for our moon base.
Well, there's nothing in there because the moon is just essentially part of Earth that broke off billions of years ago, and it's just a floating rock that there's nothing on. It's like, and there's never going to be anything found on that, right, Spencer?
It is part of the boring part of space. Is if you're going to go to all these planets and stuff, most of it is just rocks. You're not going to have a lot of interesting stuff. I
get really pumped about resources.
Yeah, resources are huge. You got
like
rocks,
when you tell me, oh, look at this,
iron.
look at this inert gas we found.
Oh, yeah,
I'm like,
helium on the moon. Yeah, right.
I'm pumped.
That's why they do all these psych experiments for astronauts, right? Because you're going to be just bored out of your mind for 8 years, right? It's like these social experiments where you're trapped with the same 3 people in this little lava tube on the moon for 8 years because you can't be outside. You'll get cooked by the sun.
Yeah,
so you have to just sit here. And, I assume that's pretty boring.
I think when Andrea met, my wife met an astronaut at some conference she went to, and they were kind of talking. And I believe he said something to her to the effect of, yeah, I don't have like a really outgoing personality because I'm an astronaut. Like, it was basically like, I am an astronaut, and this is all you're going to get.
Yeah.
I am calm, I'm logical, and I'm very boring. I'm a very boring person. I'm smart, and I'm nice. I'm a good person,
right?
But I'm not going to win any career. I have no Riz.
And you put 3 of those guys in a tube together for 8 months.
Astronauts have zero, they have 0 Riz.
Well, it's like the saturation divers or anybody.
Same guy.
They're just they're human computers, and that's where you need to be to do this job. And so
she also said that he sat there during the boring parts of this particular conference they were at, and he was fine, just sitting there staring off at like he was
just
built.
thinking.
Goes to that same place he was on the moon.
Astronauts are like young old men,
So, Spencer, since we now know how, or at least have an idea how big the universe is, I am totally bored of all our planets in our own solar system.
Totally.
Because it's all, I was like, we know about, and then I'm like, what, like even the trillions of other planets, and they're still like, well, that's only a portion of what we do, and there's this huge percentage we don't know. So the mystery of all the different planets are what really fascinates me. And then there's like all the Earth-like planets that are out there that you hear stories about.
Yeah.
But it was like we don't know too much about them because they're so far. And so is there any Earth-like planet that you know of, Spencer, that we know the most about that we actually have
like
information?
one we're studying right now?
There's probably 80% chance there's oxygen on this planet or something similar to
Well, the
Earth.
premise you're talking about is pretty much the premise for every video game I play now. That you're in a ship and then they found this planet that has an 80% chance of having the same atmosphere as Earth, and you fly to it to repopulate it, and what are the fish out of water on the new planet, right?
Because what gets me is that when you see the story, they always have like a digital representation or what they think the planet's going to look like.
Yeah.
Because it's so far away that they're looking through, X-ray. Like they're like, we know this planet exists, but we only see the shadow of it from behind its sun. And then you're just like, but we, we think it's like this. So here's a digital picture of it.
Yeah.
So then I'm like, well,
it's no different than what we do with mummies. It's like, this is what the mummy would have looked like. I'm like, whoa, look, it looks like me.
But then I'm like, I want to actually see it, but we're not there yet. And so I was like, and we'll probably in my lifetime never actually be able to see.
Definitely not.
But
I think we've resolved some blurry smudges of planets.
Okay,
Does that help?
all right, okay. So blurry smudge is all we got, right?
You just got to block out the star, and then you got like those tiny blurry smudges to the side. You're right that the actual data of all this stuff is super boring. Like the scientists that are exciting. It was like when the web stuff was first coming out. Like all the space nerds are real stoked, right? And you could see that people were getting thrilled about the images that were really pretty and everything, but like the true space nerds, there was like this graph that came out that just showed like the atmosphere composition of an exoplanet, and that was so many scientists' favorite one, and it was just a graph. But that's what the data is for exoplanets, and it's because, like you said, you're looking at the shadow, but more than that, you're looking at spectroscopy, which is really cool. It's the light going through the atmosphere, the sunlight of that exoplanet.
I have to have that this year. They changed the age.
No. Come on.
I gotta have it. What is it again?
Yeah.
What is it called again?
No, come on.
It's a
specopsy.
Spectroscopy, yeah.
Yeah, I gotta have that.
Yeah, make sure you drink
Get
that
that
weird
in,
Make you
milkshake.
drink the thing. Exactly.
Come on.
The light goes through the atmosphere, it bends in a little bit, and so you can see what the air is made out of. So you can literally, it's not just like a good chance that it has oxygen. You're like, this planet has oxygen and carbon dioxide. You can generally tell within reason how much is within there. So you can see there are Earth-like planets both in size and distance, and the atmosphere is the same. You can see water vapor in the atmosphere, so you can tell if there's water on the planet as well.
So this is where the conspiracy theories
my wife
happen.
just told me that she does a lot of What is this? What is it?
Spectroscopy. It's a great word.
Spectroscopy. That's what my wife. She goes. That's what I do for a living. I didn't know that.
What?
I didn't know that.
How do you not know that?
Find something out, you learn something every day.
Yes, you told me. You have no idea what it is.
We do a lot of spectroscopy at my job.
Well, that's what
job?
keeps your marriage exciting.
I don't know what her job is.
You don't know what your wife's job is?
Hell no, I don't know that.
What is she doing? Spectroscopy.
You can't say it either, you mother.
I can't even say it.
Spectroscopy.
There you go.
Oh, I finally said it. That's 1 for 8.
So, do you think? Okay, because going back to the conspiracy theory with the moon landing,
anything to get away from spectroscopy.
The graphs,
So,
specs.
so we have this data, right? But it's all in number form, and then like you said, the science nerds know what it means. So they're like, this means that this is an Earth-like planet that has oxygen, but it's all numbers, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then we're like, how do we show the dodos of the world?
Right.
And then they are like, well, let's just make a digital.
Make some parts green and some parts blue.
Yeah, let's just make a digital image, using AI of a world that looks like Earth, and then we'll use that for the news story because we want to spread the news story, but these people won't look at the numbers and think it's interesting.
I only look at cartoons.
And then when all of us on the internet, we're like, oh, they found an Earth-like planet, and then we're looking at it, we're looking at the actual through a telescope, like, whoa, it looks like Earth, and then we read a little further, and we're like, oh, they're tricking us. This is not what they don't know what they're looking at. This is a fake. They're faking it.
So there is no picture. So you would feel better if they just said, hey, we think there's something there. We have the data to prove it, but we don't have any images of it. So
no, but
we think it would look like this.
But they have to do something for marketing, and so
then you got to make it exciting. That's been the biggest problem with science. We've talked about this before.
Yeah,
I think that is it is your job. It's the main problem with this is that it has to be a little sexy.
And
it has to be cool.
And it's difficult because it's so hard to understand certain times and wrap your head around. So then
you got to draw the Earth.
So you dumb it down, draw the Earth, but then that causes problems because then people are like, oh, this is not real. Oh, it's all fake then, it's like,
right. All or nothing, and it's not like that.
That's a problem with science in general, right? You got the word theory that floats around, and everyone harps on that word theory so much, and the reality is with most space stuff you're seeing, it's all some kind of fabricated. The web images I was talking about, some of my favorite things, almost literally cried when I saw them for the first time. There was also a little bit fabricated, right? There's colors added in. It's like 16 different images on top of each other. If you were to look at it with your eyeball, it looks like a smudgy white cloud. Well, really, it looks like nothing because it's so far away. In fact, it looks like infrared light. It looks like heat, so we wouldn't be able to see it at all. And so the telescope itself is literally creating this image that we humans can't perceive or think about or see. That happens all the time with space, but it's especially bad when you're looking at it with a literally completely fabricated image for sure. It's an interesting concept because we got to do something to keep people talking about space, right?
When Ted Turner started colorizing classic movies, my dad was livid. I mean, wanted to take the TV and throw it out the window.
Wow.
Real mad about it. You don't go in there and take black and white images and just assume you know what color things are.
How about the sound ones? Have you guys seen the sonograph? I don't know if that's not the right word, but there's a word that you can visualize with hearing astronomy stuff, so you can look at the data of a black hole but hear it, right? And so this helps vision impaired people to perceive data for one, but also it allows them, because they obviously have different ways of thinking, to maybe even find data that visual people aren't going to see.
Yeah, I remember this. You want to hear what a black hole sounds like, T?
Yeah.
All right, here, let's see.
Okay.
I think this is what a black hole would.
This is the same as what we would see with our eyeballs, right? It's just the data that comes from a scope, but turned into audio instead of visual.
Here we go. That is what I think a black hole would sound like. That sounds exactly like a black hole to me.
See, if I was doing the marketing of this, I'd be like, we need to zhuzh it up a little bit.
Let's add some laser sound or something.
And you'd be like, bring in Method Man. He's going to rap over the black hole.
Let's add some drum beats.
Well, no, like you put in a Godzilla a little bit, like one Godzilla roar, and that'll get.
Can I get a hey yay? Put one of those in there. Put a hawk tuba in there. You hide little subliminal messages in there.
You try to make it better, and then that's what causes and then they find out it's fake, and they're like, oh, it's all fake.
Well,
they're like, no, but the original one was real. I just tried to make it better. Anyway,
I think that sounds like a black hole to me.
Right? Yeah, I mean, why not, right? Yeah. It's an interesting concept because that to us, because, we're such visual people with our eyeballs, that doesn't do as much to us, but that is just as useful as a visual image of a black hole because it's the same thing. It's just data that, like, our eyeballs didn't see turned into a thing that we can perceive.
Yeah, the chat room agrees. They also think that sounds pretty black hole-y. Like, I think that, also that, if it were pitch black in here and you guys weren't here and I was alone and I heard that, I'd be terrified.
Well, yeah.
Like if you started hearing that noise,
would you think it was a black hole? Would you be able to pull that out of a?
No, I think it was a monster. I think it was a monster.
Black holes are monsters.
I would think it was.
It's like the real monsters of the universe.
You're right. It is that the black hole is a monster. Yeah. That'd be a good. What if a black hole became self-aware?
We can workshop that.
And started devouring the universe. That's a terrifying movie.
Coming next summer.
That's a terrifying movie.
Also, another image that is not that impressive because you can't actually get an image of it because it sucks in light too. So there's So then there's like, well, this is the kind of the image of what it would look like, and because we have and
you hate kindness.
We had images of black holes though. That one's real. That one is an actual image because that comes from the very large array, that array of telescopes I was talking about. That the best case is like the black hole images we have, and it's like that orangey donut looking thing you guys probably seen. It came out like a year or two ago.
Yeah.
We have a few different black holes. Those are actual images. It's a little bit different.
So that is an actual image of black. I always thought that they were just
it's an image. It's an image of the whole thing, the system, right? The black hole you obviously can't see. What you're seeing is the accretion disk around the black hole. So are you seeing the black hole? No.
You're seeing the activity of the black hole?
Yes, exactly. You're seeing the result, the hot plasma
gas. Is that good enough for you?
Well, that's not the same.
You can't literally see a black hole.
I know. That's why I want to see the swirling in my cartoon, because again, most humans don't understand it.
Yeah. Well, back when I was a kid, the only thing I was taught about black holes was if I were sucked into one, I would be splattered. Like that. It was very simplistic.
Spaghettified.
Yeah, it would be like if you go right in, you're gone.
Yeah, but then there's a theory that there's something on the other side.
Yeah.
That somehow you come out on the other side of the universe. What is that thing? Or it's like
a white hole.
Okay, the white hole.
You wouldn't come out
I've seen the white hole.
Don't come on.
I've seen the white hole. And it is bad.
You don't want to come out.
No, thank you. Thank you, Jeff.
Again, Astrofest, OSC.org.
Yeah, man.
Orlando Science Center. Just become a member. If you have
science
kids,
of Guinness, you've got life, you've got Astrofest. I mean, there's always something going on.
Yeah, honestly, if you don't go, it just seems weird at this point.
Yeah,
it just seems weird
100%.
not to go.
Yeah,
if you like science, if you have kids, I mean, the Science Center is unbelievable for all age kids, and then once you're a member, you go there. You can't see it all in one day.
I'm very grateful. I'm very grateful that we had you guys when I had a little, and it made parenting a lot easier.
Oh yeah.
It really, really did. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Jeff, anything else we want to throw out there?
Hey, we appreciate you guys letting us come over,
always.
and also, that you've gotten to see this stuff, and because when we talk about it, they're like, well, of course you guys love it. You work there, so it's great to hear that you have enjoyed it, and it's meant something to you and your families.
It's killer, man.
I've been taking my sons there since they were 1 year old. It's like for the past 9 years we've been going.
Yeah, the vacuum machine with the scarves that you have in that air. Like, I have spent more time there than any other place in the Science Center. I stood there with Maisie for hours upon hours, just putting Yeah, I mean, like with a little kid, it's the greatest thing.
It's like actual magic, right? They're just like in a room full of magic. You can see it in their eyes.
It's incredible.
Awesome.
But sign up, be a member, and take advantage of all that they have to offer.
Yeah, and this weekend we got Astrofest, July 20th and 21st. All kinds of cool stuff you'll only see this weekend. We look forward to seeing you there.
Awesome. We will be right back.